What's going on? I am Nando. And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo! I bet people are confused twice. Like, there's two reasons people could be confused, and I think that's fine, because that increases the suspense. So I hope you guys have lots of questions, and we'll answer, let's say, one of them now. The movie we're going to do this week involves alienese, like a language or whatever. And it is...
Well, questionably multiple alien languages. Depends if you think that those one guys are speaking or not.
They seem to be. Or, well, yeah, I don't know. Because she doesn't speak to him.
She, says things to him, but, it's not clear if she's doing it in the way that you say things to your cat.
Yeah.
Or if he actually understands.
Although, well, we'll get to it. But anyway, Predator Badlands, the best movie, Predator movie since the one, we'll get to it, that we did. Well, I guess we did Prey on the pod.
We did Prey.
It's not necessarily the third of, this new wave of Predator movies, but it is the third. I don't know if, the Predator fans have called, the Trachtenberg saga or something. But it's the third Predator movie made by this one director who seems to be the guy now. So it's very exciting. I can't wait to talk about it. Me and Diggins both saw it within the last couple of hours. So it's very fresh, like a fresh kill. And yeah, so there's that. Okay. So then, DJ, if people can hear from that, he hasn't said anything yet, and also didn't do a voice. What do you think DJ's voice would have been if he intro?
I have a feeling he probably would have gone for that one first, and so I would have had to last minute do a new thing, which I would have either tried to make some Yautja noises,
right,
or I would have hard pivoted to impersonating Elle Fanning.
Yeah. Which, if only, but not. It's good that we didn't have to open that Pandora's box on the podcast. And we're doing that movie, but no DJ here. Diggins, much like the wheel, DJ's a man about the world, and he's always, jet setting, getting in missions and stuff. And one specific jet going to one specific island, maybe. We'll never know. Unless more stuff is released. Depending on when you're listening to this.
Might not be able to hide for much longer.
So, but yeah, Diggins, do you know where DJ is this week? Where in the world is DJ Chapman?
Well, DJ, of course, had teamed up with an alien monster. In order to, fight battles and try to prove himself as a man.
He does talk about that a lot.
Yeah, but then the alien monster died and left a child behind. So DJ is taking some paternity leave to take care of the alien monster child that is now in his care.
He's lone wolf and cubbing. That's great.
That's right. That's right.
And so everybody who loves hearing DJ speak, it's plenty of episodes in the back catalog. I would say you could listen to Roses and Rejections, but probably not a whole lot of that this week either. Again, because DJ is very busy with Lone Wolf and Cubbing.
Well, yeah, because DJ and Michelle are both taking care of this alien child now.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's definitely no Roses and Rejections going on.
Is that why there's no podcast in universe by The Mandalorian? Is because
I have to assume, because I think most people in Star Wars have podcasts.
I think that's right. What was the thing we watched recently that had a podcast in it? Oh, the Red Dawn movie. I feel
yeah, that's how you knew that Josh Hutcherson was the tech guy, because he was doing the football team podcast.
The football team podcast, yeah. And now, we haven't really gotten any information on what Ghostbusters are up to, if we're going to see podcast again. But I do think we need another movie, another franchise to step up and fill the podcast character void.
More movies need characters named podcasts. I agree.
Yeah. That way, who it is. And then one of these movies eventually is going to make that podcast as a bit, and it'll be cool. I'm excited to see one of them try. But you know what? You could use to do that, by the way, Diggins, is this week's news. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say I tend to just mentally in my head replace the name of any character of a single character in any movie I see with podcast, just so I can sort of pretend that every movie has a podcast.
Yeah, I guess you could do that with every movie and kind of go look at it and go like, who's the most podcast-ish of this movie? Like, for instance, the Now You See Me franchise, assuming that Now You See Me 1 also had a podcast guy in it. Who's the podcaster in that group?
You know, I want to say it's Woody Harrelson.
Mm-hmm. It could be, for sure.
I feel like he's the one most likely to just ramble for 1 to 2 hours about whatever. And also, he would start one to try to see if he can hypnotize people through podcasts.
Oh, that would be dangerous. Yeah, that would either that would get shut down or immediately be the most popular podcast, and people would be listening to it. Or people that aren't listening to it would be like, "What is it about the Merrick whatever podcast, hypnosis and conspiracy theory hour or whatever?" And maybe that's what Joe Rogan's doing. We don't know it. Because I'm not a big listener. I just know it exists, like his show, but it's very popular. Maybe
has Joe Rogan ever sent a chi blast at someone that immediately put them to sleep?
I mean, to be fair to the Joe Rogan show, if that was true, his guests don't exactly tend to be mental giants. He almost self-selects against mental giants on that show. So I actually think that would make perfect sense.
I mean, that's wise because he needs people who are susceptible to his hypnosis.
That makes sense. And then he gets them to buy his little like supplements or whatever. Another thing podcasters are great at. So yeah, this is an industry made for a hypnotist or whatever to just come in and hijack it, which sounds pretty cool. But you know what else it's made for? People with voices. You know, as a voice thing, this is part of the news of this week is Michael Caine. You ever heard that man speak?
You know, I think I have, but
yeah,
you know, it's impossible to say what it sounds like. I don't think either of us could replicate it.
No, and it's not incredibly memorable, or like it might not be incredibly memorable yet, but it will be now, because this is the news I think is very, very strange. Apparently, Oscar-winning actors Matthew McConaughey and Michael Caine have both signed a deal with the AI audio company 11 Labs. The New York-based company can now create AI-generated versions of their voices as part of a bid to solve a, quote, key ethical challenge in the intelligence industry's alliance with Hollywood. So, you know, they've got a Matthew McConaughey voice in Trapped in Little AI Hell, and then a Michael Caine voice now, which those are popular voices.
This is literally an episode of Futurama.
Yeah, with what's her name? Lucy Liu. Yeah.
Lucy Liu, yeah.
They should get her for this. They should put her in the voice monster.
Yeah, and then we can make the new episodes of Joey that have her character that we never got because she just disappeared.
That's true. Oh, she better come back in the future. I probably won't, but that would be pretty cool.
I mean, he doesn't even work on that show anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she's a producer, right? Maybe. And I imagine the show. Wait, yeah, he doesn't work on the show because he gets fired in the show, right? It's not the show gets canceled.
He gets fired because it turns out he's popular.
Right.
So Bobby's like, let's ask for more money. And then he gets immediately fired.
Yeah. So then I could see a world where in the Joey verse, that show got horrible ratings once he left because he is a humongous star, and then she had to get more work. So maybe she comes in as like a PA starting from the ground up because she ruined her career by firing Joey. And that'd be fun. That'd be a great end to the Alex romance. Just like Lucy Liu showed up again and Joey was like, oh, I forgot about you. Yes. Sorry. Good luck, Alex. Have fun. I'm going to move away from you. We probably won't see each other again for the rest of our lives. And if he was Michael Caine, she could talk to him through the computer and like have a little version of him herself. But yeah, they did a whole big thing. Like they recorded all of their words, I guess. I don't know how this works.
They said they opened up a dictionary and said every single word.
Yeah. And apparently other voices, this is part of the article I find incredibly strange, because at least if you want to say one nice thing about it, they said they could do it. So, and it's not like Michael Caine is turning down roles left and right. Apparently he's going to be coming out of retirement for a role opposite Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter 2 soon, according to this article. So
well, yeah. I mean, who could turn down an opportunity like that?
That is fair. And I haven't watched The Last Witch Hunter 1 yet, but maybe it's incredible. I mean, it got a sequel, so that's better than a lot of movies could say. But if you're Michael Caine, you're not the kind of guy that turns down projects. You like getting money, so now you get money, and you got to give permission. This is something I learned, though. Other voices that are part of the marketplace for this 11 Labs include dead Hollywood stars such as John Wayne, Rock Hudson, and Judy Garland, as well as those still living such as Liza Minnelli and Art Garfunkel. The list also includes figures such as Amelia Earhart, Babe Ruth, J. Robert Oppenheimer, Maya Angelou, and Alan Turing. So you can go onto, I'm guessing, well, let's see. It's 11 Labs is the website, or the company. I'm assuming that website just tells me who they've got. Yeah, they've got 5,000 AI voices. Wow.
So to be clear here, they've solved the key ethical dilemma of stealing from people, their very likenesses, by getting 2 of the thousands of people whose voices they've stolen to be it's cool that you stole them.
Yeah. And that's, to be fair, more than most of them. So that's something. But
just, I just kind of feel like maybe there's more you could do. I mean, I also feel that this shouldn't exist and the company should be burned to the ground. But I
don't know
if it's going to
exist, the whole economy.
It should be everything. Well, please, we have plenty of room for gambling also.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Michael Caine could do a horse race thing where he calls the horses and says which one there. See, him and Matthew McConaughey would be bad at that because they're so slow and methodical.
But they're great at doing the third pillar of the American economy, DraftKings commercials.
Oh my God. I mean, right now, without even looking, what are the odds, do you think, that Matthew McConaughey and Michael Caine has never been in one of these commercials before? Both, I don't watch that many of them either. So what do you think is the likelihood that I can't find an ad for any betting organization with either of them in it?
See, Michael Caine, I don't think the odds are that high. Matthew McConaughey, through the roof.
Yeah, I was going to say,
guarantee.
He's so perfect for that too, because he's the kind of guy who people would love, especially because of
so many ads.
Yeah. And Wolf of Wall Street, I feel like that group, people that would idolize his character in that would also see this and be like, oh, he's a voice I can trust. I don't know how to spell his stupid name. Matthew McConaughey, DraftKings. Haven't gotten anything yet, so look at that, Matthew McConaughey. Although it might be that I spelled it so bad that it doesn't. Oh, it just gave me commercial. Yeah, I don't want that. I want DraftKings commercial. Well, there's a lot. Okay, here's some Matthew McConaughey commercials you can see. He did a commercial for Salesforce. Did a commercial for Lincoln MKZ, obviously. Uber Eats. He loves Uber Eats. His tequila company, probably. So that's always big. Those seem to be his main ones.
He's definitely done, because I remember seeing it, an AI commercial.
Yes. I kind of remember that. And
where it's if I just plan things for myself, I'll end up eating in the pouring rain because I'm too stupid to ask them to eat inside. But if the AI does it for me, then I'll be smart.
Yeah. I love those stories, or those narratives of yeah, I'm too dumb to read the script, so I'm just going to have the AI summarize it for me, and then that'll be whether I do the movie or not. That was the one with the little, say little girl. She's probably in her late teens. The one from Last of Us. There was a series of Apple AI commercials where she would just go into a meeting, pretend she read the thing, and then go, all right, I'll do it. And then, yeah. So not as easy for a human being to do as book a restaurant, but perhaps more important.
Not even like it was like the function they were advertising was book a restaurant, but it was truly that in the narrative of the commercial, the idea was that without AI to tell him what to do, he could not figure out that he shouldn't eat outside during a thunderstorm.
Actually, this makes a lot of sense, because you know how people that they say that like people that are really famous, like probably Matthew McConaughey, that have been famous for most of their lives, don't know how to do really basic things like write emails and stuff, because they have like assistants to do that. Like AI would be perfect for those people, because it really is. You can ask it to do the most embarrassing, dumb thing, and it just does it. Even though if you ask the person to do that, you would never. Maybe you would want to do it, but I feel like a little embarrassed at least.
Well, we have learned lately that there are some very rich and famous people who write absolutely dog shit emails.
That's true. That's true. And, but I mean, to be fair to them, you probably don't think the email's getting out, I feel like
the worst emails scenario are getting out. I write better emails than that.
Well, I guess that's what it is. Best case scenario for you, no one ever sees that email. Worst case scenario, other stuff. There's some middle ground where people see it and go, wow, that guy doesn't know how to spell. But everything else is cool, That I feel like that doesn't exist, so it's probably a little bit safe in that regard. I saw there was a story today about this I thought was really interesting, because AI is so interesting, which, to be fair, somewhat connected to what we're going to be talking about. But there was a story that the Superman villain in the next movie or whatever got announced or revealed or whatever, and it's Brainiac, like everybody thought, because James Gunn put a picture of Brain on the script, so that made sense. But the article on like whatever it was, a legit like publication, spelled a word wrong in the first like sentence. And a lot of people in the announcement were like, ugh, come on, Lois Lane, because Lois Lane is famous for like not asking people how to spell certain words as like a bit. But a lot of other people in the chat were like, at least that's how you know a human wrote it, is if it has weird spelling mistakes and stuff. Will AI, or has it yet, start copying spelling mistakes so they can seem like a person? And then, well, is that all we've got left?
It doesn't do it to seem like a person. It does it because it, is just regurgitating things people have written. So yes, if in its samples, like that it's being fed, a word gets misspelled a lot, then it would misspell that word because that's the information it has available to it.
Yeah, I guess there's a certain kind of like, speaking of Alan Turing, who you can have the computer read his voice, which is very fun. I'm sure, yeah, he'd be thrilled by that. But like the idea of like AI is supposed to seem like people and like have to be like, they have like human voices and stuff, and they chat like a regular person. I assume part of an AI, if you like talk to it, it will say like, that's a pretty good idea. But like it'll throw in like those little things. And I imagine it could be because that's what it's hearing. But I also think part of it could be like, that will make me sound like a guy, like a human being. And then our spelling mistakes, like the opposite, like the text version of that. I don't know. But
see, the thing for me though is when I see a lot of spelling or grammatical mistakes, a few, fine. People make mistakes, no big deal. If I see someone doing it constantly, then my thought isn't like, this is an authentic human being. My thought is, this person doesn't know how to write.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting. Wow. AI, huh? While we've been talking about this, I've been trying to figure out what the art of living is. It's something that Matthew McConaughey did. It seems like it was a live stream that allegedly, according to some people online, is a big scam, but it doesn't seem to be banking related or like any any betting, it seems like it's mostly like a self-help scam about like being on the right frequency and stuff, but apparently it's very strange, and people that watched it think it's real weird.
Is it a scam he started or a scam that hired him to do ads?
It seems like it is a like Tony Robbins style like thing he put together that was like a live stream, and
he was promising he could shallow how people.
Oh, I mean, actually, I mean, speaking of hypnotizing you through the computer, but I think Matthew McConaughey is the main guy in this story, and like I think he brought all of these other allegedly scammy people together. Although I've never heard of the other ones, so I don't know who some of these guys are. But this is awesome. He's one clip, but it's just him walking around in a big empty room going, let's talk about illusion.
Are we sure it's a self-help thing? Are we sure it's not his audition tape for Now You Three Me?
It could be. It's a shame. He must be on the rocks with Woody if he can't just get a part. He's not offer only on the Now You See Me movies, considering his best friend's in it. But I guess, that's how seriously they take these movies. It's like, Nolan makes everybody audition.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, Fleischer is exactly the same. Many people say he's the Nolan of if Nolan made Venom instead of Oppenheimer. And speaking of Oppenheimer, another guy who we could get to read all his lines in the thing. Could you get Robert Oppenheimer to read the script of the Oppenheimer movie and then replace all of Cillian's words with his words? Oh, just great. Yeah.
Oh God.
That'd be the most realistic version of it. It'd be pretty cool. Man. What person do you hope never gets made into AI voice? Is there one person who you're like, if we could save one, it should be them?
Person who doesn't get AI'd?
Yeah, does not get AI voiced.
Gosh, I mean, everybody is my first answer. Everybody on Earth who has lived or will ever live. But my second choice, for a single person,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Frank Welker. Let the man rest.
Oh my God, that would be such a good AI voice too. Yeah, like that would be one of the ones that I feel like a lot of people would use.
I feel like Frank Welker is gonna die in a John Henry Irons style competition where he voices like a million cartoon animals faster than the AI can, but it makes his larynx explode.
What if, I'm looking at this now because I was kind of curious. So he does the voice of Megatron traditionally in the stuff but he wasn't in the most recent one because that was all stars. So if you look at like his most recent jobs, it's like all Scooby-Doo shit. He's fucking crushing, including Scoob, which I recently had to think about again because it was brought up amongst the lowest grossing movies that opened in 2,000 screens or more, alongside Christie, the new Sydney Sweeney movie that apparently bombed harder than anything. Apparently Scoob is also on that list, which don't drag Scoob into this.
Scoob came out in 2020, right?
Like, exactly. Well, 2021 actually, which I thought I had the same thought. I was like, well, that doesn't count. But then it did. But yeah, oh man, it would be kind of fun. Listen, I don't want to get Frank Welker's AI voice, but it would be fun if you had a real connected house full of stuff to have a specific like bot whose job it is to yell at all the other bots when they do something dumb. So like the Frank Welker Megatron would yell like, what's that stupid fucking vacuum called? Roomba, why did you fall down the stairs again? Like stuff like that. That would be pretty cool.
Who's the one human being on Earth you would pick to not be AI'd?
Oh, the Pope. It's really about what I'm thinking strategically is whose voice, if an old person got a call from them, would most old people be like, oh my God. And there's part of me that's like, well, they probably all don't know his voice. But on the other hand, I'm like, there's a lot of people on Earth who have listened to the Pope speak, and like I feel like there's a chance that like all the grandmas and grandpas of the world in like 2 or 3 years, if this got created, would all get a call that's like, hey, it is me, the Pope. Wire me all your savings and Amazon gift card, and then they would do it. So I don't know who could be more dangerous than that, but and I guess we have an American Pope, so probably
I was going to say, I really appreciate you gave the American Pope an Italian accent.
I mean, you spend a little bit of time and like a study abroad, and you start to pick up stuff, and he's in his own country. He kind of default becomes the king of his own little country. I feel like that's like mega study abroad. Also, if anything, he probably would sound like kind of like he's from like, did he spend time in like Argentina or something like that? I feel like he speaks Spanish because I believe his mission was somewhere in South America. So if I had to pick an accent, it would be the Chicago accent because he's from there. But then if I had to pick a second accent, but then a third, Italy, that would be pretty cool. Not a lot of Italians.
I would think you wouldn't want the Pope to have his voice AI'd, because then you could give orders to the Pope's exorcist.
Oh, or God, or you could do a prayer and have the computer pray for millions of Amazon gift cards. And because God only knows, he just listens to the prayers. And that sounds like the Pope. Then he would do it. You're right. The Pope's exorcist would be a big problem. Because you could send him to exorcise demons. And that's bad. Mm-hmm. Demons are monsters.
The demons could use the Pope AI voice to send him to where demons aren't, so they get to do evil demon stuff, while the Pope's exorcist is off in Mongolia. Like, where are all the demons?
That would be so funny if every time like the Pope gives Father Gabriel a call, he's the Pope in like his traditional Italian accent, like, Father Gabriel, we need you to go to Italia to get the demons, a lot of the demons. And he would get on his little Vespa and start driving. They get another call. Hey, Pope, Father Gabriel, me Pope, I actually think Serengeti, middle of Serengeti. And he just turn the whole thing around. Okay. And then they'd be waiting for him in Italia. Never going to find him. I feel like there's probably not that many demons in the Serengeti because it's like mostly animals, but do animals get demons? All dogs go to heaven, right? Why don't the animals get demons?
If you watch the documentary, All Dogs Go to Heaven, particularly its sequel, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2.
Actually, I've never seen that one.
Then you do know that typically demons are cats.
What?
But an evil dog can go to hell and be recruited as a demon dog to try to corrupt other dogs.
Oh my goodness, the cats are the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That sounds about right. That sounds like what they would think in the 90s, back when prejudice was still loud. And now we've fixed it, they probably have to remake this movie where it's something else.
Stop the cat slander.
Yeah.
That and cats and dogs both need to be.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they remake Cats and Dogs. I think we're probably going to do that on the podcast one of these days. I definitely watched the first one of those, and I went back and watched the second one since then, and it's terrifying. It's worse.
The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Yeah, the Revenge of Kitty Galore. So one of these days, we'll have to wait till DJ gets back from his mission.
Raising his alien child.
Yeah, raising the alien child. And speaking of missions and stuff, we got to talk about this week's movie, Predator Badlands.
Ooh.
Yeah. I usually at this point read the director. Well, we know director Dan Trachtenberg, and starred Elle Fanning and presumably some other people that did the voices of the stuff. I don't know who they were. Maybe Frank Welker.
Probably.
Yeah. And there's probably, and I feel like there is a lot of emoting and stuff, an unusual amount for a Predator movie. So like I would maybe, once I find out his name, credit the actor whose eyes and stuff were Predator. But
let's see. His name
and I guess there was.
Oops, sorry.
I was gonna say there's the other android. That's got to be an actor, right? Is that anybody we know?
other android, Cameron Brown.
Hmm.
And the main predator was Demetrius Schuster Koloamatangi.
Cool. Nice. Good for him. It looks like Cameron Brown is mostly a stuntman, although he acts as xenomorph on Alien Earth and stuff like that. So he's perfect for this. But yeah, he's not anybody people would recognize. So you're really here for Predator, Elle Fanning, or what's his name? Dan Trachtenberg, who, maybe in the future that'll be enough. Maybe he's gonna be a big star after this. Because
you could be here for Elle Fanning instead of Elle Fanning.
That's true. You could be here for Elle Fanning. And listen, did this movie have an opportunity to do something fun? Yes. Did I like the way it did what it did? Sure. But I do think that I love a good Hollywood, like Wyatt Russell playing Kurt Russell's son scenario or something like that. And as the movie went on, I was like, we could have done that, but maybe they were too busy. Yeah. Doing, what was that fucking movie where they were all in a box in the woods, the robots, or the fairies were going to eat them or something?
The Watchers.
So, the Watchers. Yeah. Maybe this shot at the same time as the Watchers.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk about Predator Badlands. Diggins, can you remind the people what we do in weeks when DJ, or any of us, hypothetically, but in a lot of the case, it is DJ because of all of his missions, when one of us is not around for a recording of the podcast, meaning there's only two hosts.
Well, usually we play a little game called the IMDb, B as in spelling bee, where two of us have to try to guess what the IMDb summary for this movie is. Obviously, we don't have an impartial host now.
Right.
In those cases, what we usually do is we both take our best swing at it, and then we both look up the actual IMDb summary and just sort of come to a mutual decision of who did a better job. Usually, historically, when we have done this, it's been fairly obvious.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know anything about this summary. I'm expecting this one to be a little interesting because of how kind of simple the movie is. So I'm hoping that gives us enough to go off of. But yeah, we'll see what we have to do if there's a tie.
Well, based on the movie, I think if we tie, the only thing to do is to have a battle to the death.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Well, we'll talk about it, but I think there's certain parts of being I want to say being a predator, but there's certain elements of being a predator.
Do you know a lot about being a predator, Nando?
Apparently, yeah, I watch all the movies. So there's a certain element of being a predator that I'm like is mostly just the robotic guns and stuff. So if I get the good ones of those, I think we're gonna be a-okay. But if I have to forage and learn a lesson, then I might be fucked. But yeah, let's do the summary. Who goes first in this scenario?
I don't know how we've usually decided that. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I have one of these in the car. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think my original summary was something along the lines of a predator must travel to a planet where everything is out to kill him to collect a trophy. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna go swing hard in the other direction.
Okay.
Just to make it so that there's probably an obvious winner.
Mm.
The outcast Yautja Deck travels to a deadly planet to prove himself to his clan, and teams up with a damaged synthetic to survive in this harsh world.
Interesting. Okay, so as you were doing it, I had it up.
All right,
I don't know who. Yeah, go for it. I don't know which one of us won, because mine, I think, had the shape of it more in terms of like the simplicity of it. Yours, much more complicated, but did feature certain like words and phrases that, like, you had the word clan
and outcast.
Did you say outcast? Okay, I couldn't remember if
outcast.
Okay, yeah, I as I was like reading it, maybe you said it, and in my head I couldn't remember if that was what that was. Yeah, this is tough. So for people that are confused or curious, this IMDb summary of this is: a young predator outcast from his clan finds an unlikely ally on his journey in search of the ultimate adversary. Yeah, I feel like besides me not saying the names, I don't really have much to go on with this one that I think gives me the edge. What's your... Yeah.
I don't know, because I mean, like, I did kind of get the shape of it not very well, but I said clan, outcast. I mentioned that he teams up with someone.
Yeah, you mentioned the teammate. That's true. Yeah, I think you won this one. I think more or less. I think it's a pretty... I don't know if it's the clean... Like, it's not like the ones that we've had recently, but I think this is a win for you.
I mean, historically, these don't count for the year-end statistics anyway.
Yeah, which is funny because I guess we're getting near the end of the year. So if that's the case, the statistics probably pretty close to like tabulator, which is good for a certain person who has to do the math and stuff.
Depends on how long it takes for that alien species that DJ found to mature.
That's true. And sometimes it takes forever. Sometimes not as long as you think. Sometimes maybe that the passage of time isn't incredibly clear. We don't know, but we'll find out. But yeah, before that, so Diggins, you won IMDb as a summary of Predator Badlands. So I have to ask you, Diggins, what did you think of the movie Predator Badlands?
I liked it. I think it's a pretty good movie. I do think I liked Prey better. I don't think this is my favorite of this new wave of Predator movies. I haven't seen the second one because that was a Hulu only release, right?
Yeah, because it released in... When did it release? I was thinking about this.
It was like this year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yo. You're talking about the Killer of Killers. Yes, that was a Hulu only. But the Prey didn't get a theatrical release either, did it?
I guess it didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think it might be getting a very limited one now.
That's good.
Yeah, it deserves... I mean, it was sort of in the weird lockdown sort of time period. But it would have been nice to have a theatrical release because I really liked Prey. But yeah, no, so I don't like it as much as Prey, but I do think overall it's pretty fun. It's got a solid structure to it. I mean, like we said, it's very basic, like, you know, young outcast wants to prove himself, teams up, learns meaning of friendship, finds new family, whatever. Does predator stuff. Which is perfectly fine. I think they do it well enough that I didn't mind that it was a very simplistic story. I think the predator fighting stuff, part of it was fun. Like the direction of like the action scenes is engaging enough. I went back and forth on Elle Fanning's character. There were times when I was like, you can dial it back. But I think by the end, I think there was enough they did, like with the actual emotion of the character that I found her endearing. But some of the beginning quirkiness I could have done without.
Yeah. It had a very, like, I don't want to call everything like that has this kind of vibe like Whedon-y, but it had something like that where you're like, this character is so chatty that it's kind of you can't ignore that we're watching a movie with a chatty character in it. Um, and that's always weird.
Well, like I said, I feel like once we sort of settled in more, and their dynamic was more established, then I grew to like her.
Hmm.
Um, what about you, Nando? What did you think of the movie?
So I've seen The Prey. I've also seen Killer of Killers. So I've seen all three of whatever the Trachtenberg saga. I believe there's another one. I'm pretty sure I've heard him say, or heard someone say that he said he wanted to do Killer of Killers, Badlands, and then something else. But he hasn't said what that something else is. And right now he's only attached to apparently a Waterworld show. I doubt that's what he was. Although
the
Predator would
stage show in Disney.
Oh, I mean, maybe, yeah. Well, or maybe on the West End. Maybe it'll be really good. Be one of those shows where like the audience would get all wet. People like that, like at SeaWorld.
Well, you've seen the Waterworld show at Disney, haven't you, Nando?
Oh no, is it a real thing? No. I didn't know that.
For much longer than the public consciousness of the movie Waterworld has.
When did it? Wait, is the movie based on the stage show?
No. It is a like. What do you call it?
Oh yeah,
like a show based on the movie. The movie came first, and then Disney at like MGM, or what used to be MGM and now is whatever they call it, Magic Studios, whatever. They did like a stunt show basically.
Yeah.
Where they show off some stunts based on the movie Waterworld, and that just has continued to exist for the past like 30 years, long after everyone else forgot about Waterworld.
It looks pretty fun. I'm watching a video of it now. It's from 3 years ago. Crowd not packed, although this is a pretty big area, so they probably don't need to pack it. But I'm pretty sure I saw the guy just throw water. Like the people in the show who are the performers just spray water at the audience. It's not even like the boat comes and like splashes water. It's just like they're like, let's water some of you. And I imagine based on like what's in the show, there's a lot of like water and kind of explosions, so you would get wet no matter what.
I remember it being quite like you could feel there's like fire and explosions, and I remember feeling the heat from them.
It looks pretty cool. I've never seen one of these in Disney or Universal or whatever, but they have. What was the one they did a Resident Evil one recently in Japan? That look pretty cool. But yeah. Oh yeah, the plane. I just saw the plane. Wow.
See?
Wow. That's pretty cool.
So that's what he's doing? He's doing that show?
Well, maybe I'm sure there'll be a wink and a nod at it. I'm sure at one point someone will say like, that plane landed in the water. That was pretty cool. And then someone else will take a hose and spray the camera and go, yep, something. I don't know. I see exactly the thing with Dan Trachtenberg, and I like him. But like after this movie, because I feel like Predator, Prey, and then Predator, Killer of Killers are both pretty serious. Like there's not a lot of comedy in them, which is fine. And like as a direction for these, the old ones had like some jokes where like they would make fun of each other or things would happen that were kind of funny. But I wouldn't say that's like what I expect from Dan Trachtenberg, who also directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. But then he also directed the first episode of The Boys. So that's kind of like a goofier thing. So maybe he's got that in him, like that kind of silliness. I'm not sure. I feel like, and apparently, and he wrote all of these too. So like, it's not even like he kind of switches writers. He wrote the story for Badland, Killer of Killers, and Prey. So pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, movie's cool. I like this one. I you know what? And I am kind of neutral on the Predator franchise in general. Even Prey I liked. I guess I'm neutral on the concept of the Predator in general. The idea, like the execution of what Predator does is traditionally pretty cool, but as a concept, it's never felt like, and like, people have made this joke, but like, he's kind of a sport hunter a lot of the time who goes and hunts people who are just like randos, and he's using his, super technology and his invisibility, and he kills them all. And it's like, he's not that great. You could put that on a rock and throw that rock into a bunch of Vikings or whatever, and it would kill them all. But
Nando, he does seek out people with incredible superpowers to fight. Superpowers like autism.
Yeah, well, we'll get to autism, but yeah, and sometimes they do make it like, and Killer of Killers did this, and Prey did this too. Like, it's, the Predator seeks out the person who's the biggest badass of all, and it's kind of a person who you'd be like, that's a cool badass, like a Viking or a samurai or whatever. But like, just it's the idea that anybody on planet Earth at any point in history that it has happened already is going to be a match for Predator, I find laughable. Especially the plane one. The plane one's the dumbest one. I mean, it's kind of fun, but yeah, if you ever watch Predator, Killer of Killers, it's like three little vignettes, and the third vignette is the one where you're like, this Predator kind of sucks, and he shouldn't get any credit for what he's doing. It's not cool. But they really tried in these movies or in this movie and Prey, to make the Predators more, I don't know, like, gettable and more like, I guess Prey didn't do this as much, but this one tries to make them more likable, make their mythology make a little bit more sense. And
this is the first time that they're protagonists.
Yeah,
even in the antagonist of every other Predator movie.
That's right. Even though, kind of. Have you ever watched the Alien versus Predators?
I was gonna say, I guess technically in Alien versus Predator, they're I know they are in the first one. They're basically protagonists.
Yeah, they're like,
I don't know about
friendly to the good guys. I feel like the good guys think they're gonna kill the Predators because the good guys are just like people that find the temple or whatever. But then, like, by the end of the movie, it's like, no, they're working together with the Predator because the aliens are just like monsters. But yeah, I thought this movie was pretty good. I thought it looked very good. Like, I thought the like I was saying before, like the Predator, face and like the emoting, I think almost always worked for me better than I expected. I didn't like looking at it. I didn't like looking at a lot of the stuff in this movie because it's gross. But that wore off, at least for me, with Predator. I like Elle Fanning enough that I think I was just like, I think part of me too, because she's not in the movie the whole time, and by the part where she shows up, I'm like, I could really use something else. Like, I know she's going to be here eventually, so like maybe her entrance was just timed perfectly, but also I feel like her arc of being annoying kind of settles eventually, and from that point on, I think she's pretty bearable as this like little robot sidekick. I've heard a lot of people compare this movie to like a video game, and she has a lot of like, hey Link, look over here vibe in the beginning of it. And
she's like, to use your vibro blade deck, press X.
It's like, it's a good video game like version. Like, it's a good version of a video game to watch, so I can't complain. And like, without her, it would have been pretty inaccessible. We got like, for people that haven't seen it, like, they give you subtitles of what the Predators are saying, so you're not completely confused about what's going on. But a lot of it is just like that kind of like, brother, help, and then want honor or whatever. And you could do that now for a whole movie. It could exist, but I feel like probably either Dan Trachtenberg himself or one of the other writers or producers was like, we should probably do anything else for a little bit of this time.
I will say the casual ease with which this movie throws around the word Yautja, like, on the go. I was like, you're really trusting people on this one. All right.
Well, I didn't know about this. I was kind of curious. Is Yautja the name of the species of predator, or is Yautja the name of a tribe that exists within the predator like world?
Yautja is their species. That has been like true in like the Predator canon for a long, long time, but I'm not sure has appeared in a movie before now.
Interesting. That's cool. Good to know, because I was also curious. I know, as much as I love calling them predators because it's kind of funny, I knew there must be some more explicit name that they are.
And maybe it has. I haven't seen all or even most of the Predator movies, but like I know it's one of those things that's like kind of like the alien being xenomorph. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a word anyone uses in the movie Alien.
Mm-hmm.
They do eventually in that series, but like not in the first one.
Yeah. That's true. Interesting. I'm looking at this now. Yeah, the Yautja. Yeah, I did not know this. Although, yeah, when would they even say? Like, I guess you could have. I mean, you could have someone with the human superpower of autism maybe figure it out by using their incredible brain.
Clear to anyone who hasn't seen.
Everybody saw whatever that movie was called. Was that The Predator? I can't remember.
Yeah. We're not making fun of people with autism. There is a movie in The Predator where like the twist at the end is like the predators always steal, like kidnap people or like species that have cool superpowers that they can use so they can adapt. And the cool superpower they're trying to steal in The Predator is autism.
I mean, yeah, and it's pretty cool. They would love TikTok. A lot of TikTok about autism and stuff, and they would, have a lot to say about that. Maybe that's why they came to Earth in that movie. Although that was before TikTok was really a thing. But yeah,
coming off.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty cool. The Predators about that, and yeah, it's a sequel, or it's a franchise too, where like there's all kinds of supplementary material. I have no idea what's canon and what's not canon. I also don't know what, if any of these. I believe I saw someone say in an interview, this is as far forward as anything's ever been in the Predator-verse. So
it's true. Predator movies are usually in like the present day or even the past.
Yeah, and it's usually pretty easy to look at them and go, oh, that's, native tribe, whatever. That's like, I don't know, 1700s or whatever. Like with Prey and a Killer of Killers specifically, or especially because it's so tied to, I think you even get like year title cards in that. But yeah, this idea of like a Predator movie so separate from humanity, it's interesting. I think most of it, I know this is like a very long thoughts of the movie. I like the Predator stuff. It was cool looking. I was pretty pleased with how the story went. And like, because in the beginning of the movie, I was kind of like, this guy's pretty dumb. What are we gonna do with him? And then for a lot of the rest of the movie, I was like, this guy has learned nothing. He's still so dumb. Is that gonna be the bit? It's just like you're gonna get to the end of it, and you're like, well, that is how Predators are. But like, at least Elle Fanning's character learned something, or something like that. Had an arc. But they do give him like an arc, and it's pretty fun. A lot of the smaller bits of it worked for me, and a lot of the parts that were supposed to be funny, I think were funny. Even if they maybe would make hardcore Predator fans annoyed. I feel like there was enough cool badass stuff that you could keep someone who was just in these for the Arnold movies, where he's like the toughest guy ever. Like, you could keep them pretty entertained by this movie.
I mean, hey, if you're a super fan of the Yautja, this is the first movie where they win. So,
yeah.
Could be argued that this is the coolest they've ever looked.
That's true. It's a good, yeah. And you know what else? I feel so bad for him because he's busy on his journey. Nice and short movie, hour and a half, like bing, bang, boom. You're in, you're out. No post-credit scene, no nothing. I really appreciated.
If you count post the first like second of the credits, there's a post-credit scene.
That was bizarre. But fine with me, because then I just got to leave. Yeah, so overall, I think as like, I don't know, I know review-wise, this movie did pretty well. I don't know budget, or like, well, I also don't know the budget. It looks expensive. like I'm looking at what I imagine as $100 million movie because it's all Predator CGI and
I was
stuff.
saying,
And
a
then
lot of CGI.
and then I can imagine this made enough money without being like the biggest movie of all time. But I couldn't tell you.
It has a budget of 105 million, and
Okay.
the number on Wikipedia so far, which obviously this movie just came out, so it's an always increasing number right now, is 90 million. So
Oh, that makes sense.
probably on track if it keeps doing an okay business for the next few weeks to make back its money, at least.
Yeah, I'd also have to imagine these Predator movies I don't know if they do well overseas, but like it's such a simple movie that it's got to be pretty easy to like translate into different markets without worrying if like is this going to work for different
Especially because
cultures.
half of it is subtitles anyway. You just replace the language the subtitles are in.
Right. And like I'm looking at it now as far as the breaking down like the gross in which countries. It's the ones you would expect. Like the UK is pretty high on this list. China's the highest. So like, yeah, I imagine if it gets another good week, and I think the word of mouth will be pretty good, I imagine this will make back its budget. And
unless it just gets buried by Now You Three Me.
I know, or The Running Man. And or maybe I see it's got better reviews than both of them, but definitely Now You See Me is reviews have never been its Achilles heel. Like it's weird too now that I think about it. I'm sure people have made this point, but that's two Arnold movies are going to fight each other.
Oh yeah,
a Predator sequel and a Running Man, whatever reboot thing. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. He hasn't been in a Predator movie in a while. Oh, actually, to be fair, they do reference him a lot in they get him in Killer of Killers. And I want to say The Predator was supposed to end with Arnold showing up in a mech suit or some shit. It was so stupid. Do you remember how that movie does end? Like, because it's like Boyd Holbrook has a mech suit. They like build like a Iron Man suit and they're like, this will help us fight the Predators. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm going to go fight. I think that was supposed to be Arnold in the original version of the script, but maybe.
I don't think Arnold has been in a Predator movie since the first one.
Yes, but Killer of Killers kind of gets at that he could maybe be brought back or something. So I think they're going to try it. And I think I'm really surprised, honestly, at the amount of restraint this movie had, because it was going for bringing together certain, say, like concepts or like ideas from other movies in a way that makes sense for any, sequel these days. But there was also just moments where I was expecting like the girl from Prey to show up or something and just be in somebody's closet, in cryo sleep. But they didn't say
she and Arnold would be dead, long dead by this point in the series.
Unless they're in a closet in cryo sleep, you never know. They have the freezing technology. They have those little freeze grenades. Pretty cool. But you should watch Killer of Killers. It's pretty good. And I do think Killer of Killers is the most lore heavy. Like if you want an idea of what Dan Trachtenberg thinks the Predator society is like and like how these guys relate to each other, that's really helpful. Way more helpful than this or Prey. Because for a lot of it, you're on Predator, or for some of it, you're on Predator Planet, and they're just like, this is what we're doing next. So, yeah.
I've never felt like Predator society was that difficult to comprehend. It's like, we're warrior guys. We value honor and being cool and strong. And I'm like, got it.
Yep.
I'm good.
That's a great point. I guess part of me with this was always like, and I was, you get a little bit of this here, is like, do they think people who go to America, if you like, can you go to like, I'm a predator, I'm going to go to Times Square and just cut off one guy's head and come back and go, look at what I got. Will they go like, he sucks? Or will they be like, wow, cool? And I think the answer is they would go, he sucks.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be you go hunt like someone cool and strong. So like, random human doesn't count. You get Arnold, that counts.
That's big, yeah. And yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I like this movie. Loud, very nice, loud movie. And I had what I'm going to call some teens in my theater. They may not have been teens. They may be older than that, but they're teens to me, who were talking during the credits. And I was like, motherfucker, or not the credits, during the trailers. And I was like, damn, if these guys talk through the whole movie, this will be annoying. And they shut up when the movie started yowling at them with its soundtrack. So I think they did a good job there. So yeah. And I think DJ would like this movie too. I think maybe when he gets back from his quest, I recommend he watch it.
Oh, we're actually getting a call in from DJ right now. Let me just.
Oh, yeah.
It's dog shit.
Oh no, DJ!
Surprising opinion from DJ.
It was short, but also it didn't have, and it didn't even have any kisses, even though it could have if it wanted to. So I thought this was perfect for him, but he'll have to explain himself.
The logistics of the kiss would have been deeply troubling.
But I think they could have gotten there. I feel like that's the that's kind of the lesson of the movie for me. Wait, are you talking about if the
happen?
Which two kissing would be the troubling logistics? Now I'm thinking about it. It's got a little bit of a certain, problem with the certain sitcom runs into a lot. If that's what you're going for.
Oh no, I did mean
okay.
I did mean Deck and Thea, but yeah, I guess there is another kiss that like wouldn't have been a problem, except they explicitly make it a problem.
Yeah, I was kind of convinced she was just like, yeah, no, sister, whatever. And then they were kind of gonna meet later and it would be different. Yeah, exactly. Because it's too much. Why would you wouldn't care. It wouldn't be worth explaining to this guy. Yeah, but that wasn't one of those. So, it's pretty cool. And this movie is pretty cool. So I am the person who has to summarize this movie, you guys. By you guys, I guess I mean listeners and you Diggins. It's going to be an interesting one.
I'm also a listener in a sense that I listen to everything that we say.
That's a great point. Is everyone a listener? Because sound travels in waves. What does listening mean? All right, by just kind of existing on Earth and kind of interacting in the very, 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 very small, waves of sound that continue. Are you all listeners?
But what if you're deaf?
That's a good question. Kinky.
Much to consider.
I guess, yeah, that's tricky. But I'm just making the case that we have everybody on the planet listen to our podcast would be nice, but then deaf people would be tricky. We'll figure something out. There's transcripts now, probably screen. You can get Michael Caine to read you the podcast. That'd be wonderful. Wait, you'd still have to hear it, but still, you could at least know it's being read by Michael Caine.
You could play it for Michael Caine and then have him transcribe it phonetically with his accent.
Yes. And that'd be a nice treat. But all right, so I'm going to do the summary of Predator Badlands. And Predator Badlands is a story in the broad sense. It's about a guy and a girl, trekking around, together, and having an adventure throughout a bunch of mountains. You know what that reminds me of actually? Is the movie Brokeback Mountain, but not the real one, but the one in my favorite television show, which I was watching recently, the sitcom Joey. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah, I have been watching some Joey lately, now that you mention it.
Have you ever seen the one that references Brokeback Mountain? Unless there's a bunch, and maybe this is something that we'll get every episode from now on, but definitely one I remember was the one where they talked about Brokeback Mountain a bunch.
You talking about Joey and the snowball fight?
Is that season 2, episode 14? Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
it is.
That one I think is an interesting. It says some interesting things about our current day. Speaking of books and stuff. So yeah, in fact, I think it's an interesting episode because it also talks about family. Relationships between father and son, kind of. But yeah, it's a good one because it's one that it follows the last episode. That was the Christmas episode, and Alex and Joey have a complicated relationship now where she's dating whatever that guy's name is, Mike or something. What's his name? Dean, right? Because Michael is Michael. So she's dating Dean, who is like the older man who, and they kind of make this point, like, is pretty much just Joey, but like a little bit older and more kind of like, I don't want to even say more slimy because that's not it. And he's normal, like the characters like him and get along with him. But yeah, he's like Joey in like 5 years. And Alex is dating him. Joey's like, I just don't like that. Something about it is, it's upsetting to me. And everybody's like, well, Joey, you got to figure out that, I don't even honestly can't remember what the beginning of the episode is, because then Bobby shows up and she's like, hey, I got an action figure for you, Joey. And this is what is the most interesting part to me of this episode, besides the Brokeback Mountain thing, which we'll get to. But they made Joey action figures for his movie, which I think is called Captured.
I think this is when we learn it's called Captured.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of what we've seen. Some sort of like, I guess they're like captured prisoners or something. Like
it's a Roland Emmerich film. So
yeah.
Some sort of disaster probably has happened. And they've got to do a bunch of action stuff with a small child in order to
right. Oh yeah, forget about small child. Yeah,
they're all kind of the same. Your basic Moonfall sort of situation.
Yeah, and this one, Joey is the main guy, so he gets a big cool action figure. An action figure being, I think, is like a interesting way to describe this because it's a bigger thing. It's like the size of like what G.I. Joe's used to be. Where I think you define calling this a doll. I think you call all of them dolls, but I think this one feels more doll-like. And it feels more doll-like in another reason too, because the bit of this is that Joey's action figure, which they give them like the prototype for or whatever, while the face looks like Joey, the arms are a little bit weaker, like smaller. He needs muscle definition. And then he opens up the chest and finds that it's actually a Barbie or like a girl body underneath the head. Yeah. So Joey is not okay with this, and they got to fix it. So we'll check back in on that. You know what? Let's go right to the next bit of that plot line. Get it out of the way. They do it again, but this time the Joey is black and not a woman. And this is where we get a little bit of our main non-family member, black character and woman character come in, and they're like, oh, it's better to be a woman than black or black than, well, she doesn't say that. That'd be wild if she said that.
That would be an insane way to put it.
Yeah. They do the thing that 30 Rock does where they're like, well, it's harder to be a woman in Hollywood than a black man in Hollywood or whatever. I can't remember how this show does it. No, 30 Rock does it. On 30 Rock, Jenna and Tracy are arguing over who has it harder in Hollywood. And I think that's kind of what they do in this, right? Something like that.
It's more like Alex and Zach both get offended when Joey thinks, when he's like, I'd rather be the black person. And so then Alex is like, oh, so being a woman would be so terrible.
Right. Yeah.
And, back and forth like that. I did kind of like at the beginning of this scene, Zach comes in and they say hi, or they have a discussion. Then he's like, oh, here's the new action figure. And it's, he's black. So he goes like, oh no, realizes that Zach is there. Great.
Yeah.
And then Zach looks at it, is like, what are you talking about? It's black. It's not you.
Yeah. And like, listen, it is weird that I think the woman thing I get, because maybe some person who was assembling this doll accidentally picked up the wrong body and put the head on the thing. The black doll, this toy company is gonna get sued big time. Like this is close to toy company level PR disaster.
I mean, it's also like it's his face too. It's not like with the woman doll where they put the Joey head on like a woman doll's body. Like they sculpted and like manufactured a completely different doll.
Yeah. Also, now that I think about it, it's funny because one of the frequent criticisms of Friends was that there were only white people on Friends besides like Aisha Tyler. But they fixed it by making the Joey black.
Retroactively. Joey's
Yeah.
back, so there was a black main character in every episode.
Wow. Progressive. And a little racist, honestly, because of how dumb they made him. It's like it's kind of a weird decision. I don't know which friend you would want to be the one black friend. I guess like Rachel, the most well-rounded of the friends. Maybe Chandler. You don't want Ross. You don't want any. Listen, they've all got a lot of problems. Those friends. They're not gonna. Probably Paul Rudd's guy, right? He's probably the coolest because he's Paul Rudd.
Yeah, but that would mean that we have a black man come in to marry one of our white women, and listen, that's not going to fly in the 90s, Nando.
That's true. That's true. Oh, why can't we all just get along like those two cowboys at Brokeback Mountain, and which okay. So then the other plot line, the main plot line of this episode. Well, I guess. Well, even though the episode is called Joey and the Snowball Fight, I do think the Alex plotline takes a backseat to the Gina plotline in this.
Yeah, I would
one just because it's more interesting. But yeah, and the Alex plotline is just she's dating this guy. Joey doesn't like him. That doesn't not like him, but he's like having complicated feelings about it. So he goes and sabotages a dinner of theirs by being, kind of just like annoying at it. And that bothers Alex. So she eventually takes her frustration out on Joey. Well, we'll get to that. But the main plot line is Jimmy's back. And yeah, so Jimmy, for people that forgot, was Michael's father and Gina's like ex, played by the actor, the Hebrew Hammer, whoever that is. I already forgot his name. But
I believe is
Adam Goldberg, yeah. And if you, like me, were confused when he showed up and then left forever, yet he was supposed to be in many episodes of this show. This is why, I guess, he shows up near the end of the run and just sticks around, I assume. Now, he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of problems. This character is... He's like very angry, kind of on a hair trigger. Do they explain what his deal is? Like
why he has a temper?
Why he feels like a character that he feels like a character that at certain points I'm like, oh, do we know that he like has PTSD or something? Because he's so like triggered by so much stuff, but I don't think that's the case. He does say that he wants to get involved with the army, but just because he almost got recruited by accident, it seems like. But yeah, I don't know. This character just he's a real mess.
Well, I think with him and Gina, they're trying to do the
right,
belligerent sexual tension kind of thing, where it's like they fight like really intensely whenever they see each other, but that is just a manifestation of them wanting to have sex.
That's a good point. Yeah, because that is the energy that we get. Because yeah, he shows up looking for Gina because she's not calling him back or something. The fun part of this episode, I would say, besides the black soldier or not soldier, black G.I. Joe doll thing, which was fun, is the idea that Michael is using this as an opportunity to bond with Jimmy in a way that is bothering Jimmy. It almost makes Jimmy like Michael again.
Jimmy does not know that he is Michael's
father.
Gina told Michael, but she has not told Jimmy.
And is Michael just like dumb, like can't quite put it together, do we think? Or is he just like in denial?
You mean
why doesn't he, or Jimmy, yeah, why hasn't he figured this out?
I would have to assume that he's dumb. I mean,
yeah,
Joey figured it out. Joey did the math.
Exactly. And Joey's an idiot. So like, yeah, that had confused me a little bit. But yeah, these two are hooking up. Not Michael and him, not Joey, Gina and Jimmy.
As much as Gina would like it if
Joey, Gina, and Jimmy all hang out together a lot.
As much as Gina would like it if it was Joey or Michael hooking up with her, it's Jimmy.
Yes. Now that I'm thinking about this, does this episode not have any Joeyisms in it?
I don't think so. I don't really remember anything.
There's one bit where well, we'll get to it. But either way, we're getting close to the end of this, because basically the plot line here is Gina thinks she's pregnant, tells everybody. Obviously, Jimmy freaks out because he's Jimmy, and he's like on a hair trigger generally, but also clearly not a character that's ready to be a father, whether he knows he already is one or not. And the gang, well, not the gang, mostly Joey, has to convince him to like be a better father and be, take care of Gina. Also, we see he works at a bookstore. He works at like Barnes and Noble or something, scaring the kids away. But that is where Joey picks up a book, the only book it seems like he's ever touched in his life. And it turns out to be Brokeback Mountain.
Well, if you were a Friends fan, Nando, you would know that he has also read The Shining and Little Women.
Oh, okay. Very good for Little Women. That's great. Joey, and it makes sense. Joey has a lot of sisters, it seems like. So that would, I can see how that would be something you would like to get more information about. It comes about
from a challenge between him and Rachel, where they both read each other's favorite books.
Oh, and his is The Shining and hers is Little Women.
Mm-hmm. But he ends up really liking Little Women, so
that's a great book. It's about an actor, kind of, or like an acting family and storytellers, and
it's true.
All the stuff that these guys love. And I bet he would love it when Bob Odenkirk walks into the room and says, "My Little Women." Like, that would make everybody happy, but that would delight Joey to no end. But yeah, so and also there's a really funny bit. Not really funny. Okay, I liked it, where this kid that Jimmy has freaked out has an action figure, and Joey takes the action figure apart to see what an action figure is supposed to look like in a way that is, creepy and funny. I like that. That was good. But then Jimmy does decide to be a man and get his shit together, and doesn't propose to Gina, but he does promise to raise the child with her. He gives her a little teddy bear and a video on bear attacks because he doesn't want the little kid to get too comfortable with bears. And I like the detail. He was like, I'm a good person. I would never leave you. And it turns out the bear has a Greyhound sweatshirt on it. So he did buy it at the Greyhound station. He was on his way home, but he's going to stick around because he's a good guy. And then Gina lets us know that she is not pregnant. Turns out she was wrong. I don't know if do we think that's true? Or is this a misdirect of the show? Do you think she's going to get pregnant by the end of it?
I feel, she might get pregnant, but I feel like
that's true.
If it was a misdirect, like she's lying about not being pregnant, I feel like there would be a significant look at the end of the scene or something.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess she would have lied about not being pregnant earlier before he stepped up. And then she would, after that, be like, oh, maybe I do want to raise this kid with him, but not tell him. It's an interesting moment in the sitcom, because for a second, when she says, I'm not pregnant, and they're like, how do you know? And she's like, well, and I'm like, oh, she got an abortion or something. That's cool. Good way to go, show. In 2006 or whenever this aired.
This is a network sitcom during the Bush years. There's no way.
I know. I was really impressed. I mean, maybe they'll let Long Island Italians do it, and that's like, well, that's the kind of thing those people do. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me in the moment, but it turned out to not be that. It's that she, and this is where it's not like incesty, but in fact, it's not, because she starts talking about her cycles and all the guys plug their ears and go, la, 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 we don't want to hear it. Whereas if anything, you would kind of expect maybe Michael would be like, I know all about your cycle, mother, because of our complicated and strange relationship.
Although I do have to question that Gina apparently was late, and instead of going and taking a pregnancy test or something, just immediately started telling everyone she was pregnant.
Yeah. And maybe if you've been pregnant at least once, you just know. That's kind of, I guess, how this character would explain it. But feels like before you, well, to be fair, she may not, I think she does want to tell Jimmy. I think she plans to tell Jimmy, but even before she does, Jimmy figures it out immediately that that's what she's thinking. So if that wasn't set up as the dinner to tell everybody, it would make sense that she's like, I think I'm pregnant. And then he reads it on her face before she's even able to do a test. But yeah, that's
Now,
not how it's played.
I will say the thing that the joke that happens here, which is that everyone immediately figures out she's pregnant by the fact that she orders a non-alcoholic drink,
Right, yeah.
is a thing that happened in real life to my sister.
Apparently it happens a lot. If you're cool, if you're like a cool person like Gina who drinks a lot and or a normal amount, I guess, a non-zero amount. But did you figure it out because of that, or did like other family members figure it out because of that?
Now her friends figured it out because of that. Like she told us as soon as she knew.
Right. Yeah, it's that's why you got to stop drinking every so often just to throw everybody off the scent,
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll
that's why I don't drink, so that people won't figure out when I'm pregnant.
Exactly. And that's why you never do any of that stuff that pregnant women aren't supposed to do, like go skydiving with us or take Tylenol. You know that like it's any of that is going to tip us right off. That's why we're always going skydiving. It's because we're going to figure it out eventually. And a man can't get pregnant. That's, first of all, that's the one thing we know from our book, Brokeback Mountain, which another joke about Brokeback Mountain, which I think is still kind of funny. Joey loves it because he doesn't get that it's about gay cowboys, but he assumes that the book has fake or has, what's the word? Typos. Yeah. That they fucked up all the pronouns. And he's going in with a pen and correcting it, which listen, Brokeback Mountain, honestly, enough time has passed that I think I kind of enjoyed this joke a little bit. In any other, like at the time, I feel like it would be the most like overdone kind of dead joke. Because like, man, that was all Leno and those guys were talking about was Brokeback Mountain, gay cowboys. But
it was very popular.
It was everywhere. I've never even seen it, but I know so much about it from, the kind of cultural osmosis. I assume it's good, like annually enough, but yeah, where's he going with this? Joey. Oh, right. The end. Joey has a snowball fight with Alex because he's mad at her.
Well,
they take out their frustrations with Snowball. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. In fact, I guess. And is this how you would do it in real life? Like mashed potato flakes or something?
It's just like potato flakes, I think, was the fake snow.
Right.
Joey says that in an earlier scene. And so when it rains, they sort of get reconstituted.
Right. Yeah. And they're like mad at each other. And she's like, you got to pick it up. He's like, get this stuff off their shared little, patio thing. And he's like, no, or she's like, it's your gift. And then they start throwing it at each other and have like a little flirty kind of keep throwing it at each other moment. Michael comes out and they throw it at Michael. And then Michael's like, I'm going to throw it at you guys. And me, as someone who's seen other episodes of Joey, was like, wait, is baseball the sport he's amazing at? Or what happened with that? I couldn't remember. But I think the end game of it was like, because he didn't cultivate that, he sucks at baseball now.
Yes.
But if he has the natural aptitude, okay, yeah. And then Joey and Alex, because of, they've got a little bit of chemistry now because of the snowball fight and stuff, and they've kind of worked through their differences. But then Alex is like, Joey, I think you're right. I think we should just be, and she turns to the camera and says, friends. And then they jump into the big pool
fountain.
The big fountain in
and it just starts out like dun, 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 dun.
They all open up their umbrellas. And then the guy comes down. He's like, hey, Joey, what's the deal with, okay, so wait, the boyfriend guy what was his name again? Dean. Does Dean just not see this? Is he kind of dumb? How are we reading Dean in these moments? I mean, he's still friendly to Joey.
How often has he seen Alex and Joey interact?
But you see, yeah, but so assuming that Dean is kind of a Joey type, I think if Joey was in this scenario, he would get jealous of the other guy, even if there's nothing going on, or like he'd be a little bit kind of stereotypical in that way. Or maybe not. Maybe Joey would be so confident in himself that he'd be like, well, obviously she's into me. He must just be a friend of hers. I don't know.
Or maybe Dean is waiting for Joey to bring it up so he can swoop in and say, I have the perfect solution. Polycule.
Ooh, yeah. No, we weren't ready for like the abortion talk, but we were ready for poly and all of that back in 2006. And that'd be cool.
And Joey would be like, maybe I wouldn't have been open to this before, but I've been reading this great book that's really expanded my mind to the possibilities of the human body.
Maybe gender is more of a concept than you would expect, and look at what I've done to this book and how I change its pronouns. All bets are off. And they go up, and just all have sex on that roof where he dates people, right, or something. That would be pretty cool. But instead, they haven't done that yet. There's time. But the button on the episode is now Joey has a new doll. It is white Joey head, black Joey torso, woman Joey legs. So but because it's all covered up by whatever clothes this character wears, all looks normal. Except if you pull its string or something, it makes a noise and it's a baby doll voice. Yes. So that's what the Joey doll is just going to be. This is why we do prototypes, is so we don't ship this doll. But like, I don't know what this company's, what this company's up to.
Yeah, they really must have cheaped out when they were like hiring out, like licensing the rights to make these toys.
Yeah, like this company has fucked up everything. There's no other way they could like conceivably fuck it up besides just shipping just the head. And even that, I'd be like, well, that's like you put it on another action figure that you have, and that's even more plausible than shipping it with a black body and a black face. What happens what's the kid gonna get? The black child in this show, in this movie, if he gets an action figure, what's he gonna get? Like a tall white woman or something? Like
he's gonna get his body, Joey torso, or no?
Oh yeah,
his body, his head, woman torso, Joey legs.
Joey legs. John Larroquette arms, or whatever that character's name was. I already forgot. Yeah,
I also don't remember.
Yeah, I like this episode. Well, what'd you think of this episode, Diggins?
I mean, I didn't think this was one of like the worst episodes of Joey, but it was a little unfocused. Like you said, there's sort of like 3 plot lines going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At least, like as far as the whole Alex plot line, at least things are happening in it now. Unlike the first half of this season, but also we've mostly just forgotten the Joey movie thing.
Yeah.
Like, he gets the action figure, but there's no actual thing about him working on the movie.
I agree. I think there was the action figure plotline. I think had a lot of potential, and I like that they didn't go overboard with it, and it just was a runner of like, we have a new action figure for you, Joey, and it had a new problem. I think that plus Michael and the Gina plotline was all I needed. I don't think the Alex and Joey plotline was very fun. And didn't, like you said, it moved things forward in the relationship, but I didn't think it added much to this episode. And if you take that bit of it out, you have now this one plot line about like a toy that Joey's producing, and on the other side you have like just a plot line about like a baby that might happen. So there's some ways I feel like you could connect those two that they wouldn't feel as separate. But in this, it's just so, it just feels like they are smushing plot lines together. Two things I like that I didn't mention. One, in a little heartfelt Joey moment, because Jimmy will refuse to acknowledge that Michael is his son, perhaps intentionally or perhaps just hasn't had the thought yet. He's like not willing to give Michael the time of day, but Joey gives Michael the bear, and he's like, this is for Jimmy's son. So this is for you. And it's like, aw. And then they watch the bear attack video. And then, so that was fun. Other bit that I liked at the very end of the episode, when Joey's sad because of the Alex thing going poorly, he's just sitting there and he takes a fork out of his pocket and just starts eating some of the mashed potatoes. And I was like, good. I was hoping this food thing would kind of play again, and it did. So
absolutely
Yeah, it was fun.
vile, but was
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Totally in character. Honestly, part of me was like, I kind of expected when the snowball fight started for her to throw them and him just to eat all the snowballs. As like, what do you think, you're gonna throw food at me? Like, this is insane.
This is
What do you?
also maybe sort of a reference to a Friends episode.
Well,
There was an episode where Chandler and Rachel were fighting over a cheesecake that got accidentally delivered to them multiple times because it was like this really delicious cheesecake, so they didn't want to give it to the right person. And while they're fighting over it, it gets knocked on the floor, and they're just sort of like desperately eating all the bits that didn't touch the floor, like laying on the ground with forks, eating it. And Joey walks in, and it's just comedy pause as they all just stare at each other. And then Joey just pulls a fork out of his jacket. It's like, what are we eating?
That's good. I like that. I think this episode had potential, but again, too much stuff going on. And I don't know if I like Jimmy. I think that's my other problem. Sometimes Jimmy is funny, but Jimmy's energy is just so different from kind of what I enjoy about this show that I don't know if it's going to work for me. We'll see. But yeah, we haven't upgraded anybody to a main character in a while. Zach, I feel like, was the last one of those, and his energy was very different. So maybe this will work and like grow on me, but I'm not quite there yet.
See, we are 2 episodes away from episodes that did not air.
I was wondering, yeah, and it's not because of the Brokeback Mountain plot line. It didn't get cut because because this show started exploring radical themes and stuff. It was just because no one liked it and it didn't get watched, which is makes sense. But it did get watched. Predator Badlands.
By us even.
We did watch it. Yeah, me and you. TJ will eventually. Maybe he has already seen it. You never know.
Maybe he has.
But I am the person that has to describe this movie. I'm going to look at the holiday timers and see if there's anything that feels more or less Predator Badlands-y.
Ooh. Instead of going for another Thanksgiving themed one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do the corn timer again.
Mm-hmm. With its extremely appropriate noise.
We'll do the corn. Yeah, we'll do the corn timer again. It's okay. I was hoping there'd be some sort of like, I don't know, wilderness one or something, but it didn't seem like there is. I guess I'll share this screen. Let me get the different window. So yeah, I am going to do the summary of this movie. I have 15 minutes. I think that's a pretty good amount of time. I think I'm going to be okay.
I think the 15 minutes has been working for us.
Yeah, and I think if any movie, this movie is, I don't want to say light on details because a lot happens, but it's not as complicated as some of the movies we have done and succeeded with. So I think we're probably going to be okay. But yeah, so I will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Predator Badlands. It starts with a thing about what the guys are, what the predators are, and it's like they all fight and do war to prove how badass the other ones are to each other. I can't remember what it was, but it was some text on screen.
It's that everything is prey to them. They make no friends. They are predator to everything. Something like that.
Right, yeah. And so then we meet the main guy. What was his name again? Peck or something?
Deck.
Yeah. So they meet Deck. Deck is a predator. About what you would expect. Normal looking predator riding around on his motorcycle.
Well, actually, he's kind of a short predator. Kind of a scrawny little predator.
If you say so. He's pretty big.
I know by predator standards, he's small. By human standards, he's quite large.
That's true. I guess at this point, it's not super clear because, Deck, we're going to meet Deck's brother next, and Deck's brother is larger than Deck. What's that one's name? Fleck?
Clay, I want to say.
Yeah, we
Lei.
That sounds right. Yeah. And Deck and Clay have a big fight in the beginning, you're kind of like, oh, this is a predator killing another predator. But then pretty quickly, because of the actual dialogue we see on screen, it's like, no, you're our father, or like we have a father that we share and we're brothers. And it's like one of those fights where one of them's trying to teach the other one a lesson. And the deal seems to be Deck is the, like we're saying, the little runt predator who is small and wants to be a big badass, but is not yet. And I remember when he says this, but he wants to get his cloak. That's how you have to earn that. And he has a plan to prove that he is ready to their father, who is, I guess, the king of these guys or whatever. Some sort of elder in the, predator society.
He's the head of their clan, I think.
Yeah. And they, so we'll learn, as maybe this was always known to predators, like they have to go to earn their cloak and their spot as a badass. They have to go kill something really cool. And after they fight,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now we see on screen, flash it through a couple of things. I couldn't figure out. I don't remember what the first thing was. I think at one point we see like Native American warrior or a little silhouette of someone who you're like, oh, that's someone from Prey. Although, like I said, I believe this takes place canonically in the very, very far future, so that wouldn't work.
We get that confirmed once we meet Elle Fanning.
Oh right, yeah, of course, duh. Yeah, but the but so eventually he finds he settles on something that's really big, a big monster thing, and it is called, what the heck is, this one I remember, because I remember watching it and being like, I know what that is. I forget what it was called. Do you remember what this one's called?
I believe it's a Callisk.
Callus, yes. So the Callus is on
Callisk,
the
with a K.
Callisk, yeah. So the Callisk is on the unkillable planet of ultra badasses, and it's the toughest thing you could possibly kill. No one's ever killed it. A bunch of predators have tried, but like this one wants to prove himself. So he's like, I'll kill that. Also, him and his brother have like a relationship where they're like, you saved me. His brother's like, you saved me, so I love you, or whatever in predator, emotions that is. But like they're not all as robotic as you would expect they usually would be. These two seem to have some sort of like, and the older predators like, don't go to the fucking murder planet, and the young predators like, I'm gonna go kill the big monster thing that no one's even ever touched, and it'll be sick. I don't think at this point either of them know why this monster's such a big problem. But like it looks scary on the little computer, so probably gonna be a problem. So then the dad comes. Dad is dressed in a big, he's got horns and stuff, and like we're saying, he's like in charge of these guys, at least this clan of them. And the brother is like, he's gonna go fight the Callisk, and that's gonna be his trophy. And Dad's like, I hate this one child, just kill him, and that will be good for our species. And the brother's like, but I don't really want to kill him. We should let him try to fight his Callisk. And Dad is like, no, I have nothing but hate for weaklings. Go kill him. But then, in a stunning twist of, well, for the dad, I guess, in a stunning twist, the brother does not, the brother does not kill the main character of the movie. He, in fact, rescues him and then tosses him onto his ship, which the brother has, which they were on, and then like closes him in on it so they can't get out. And then the brother fights the dad. Dad kills brother. And instead of getting his sword so he could protect himself from his brother or from his dad, the brother gets his little arm remote control thingy and uses it to fly the spaceship away. So he saves his brother's life. And now brother has to go to Callus planet and find the Callus and kill it to prove himself, and also kind of get revenge on his brother. Or not on his dad, for his brother. Yeah. He has to get revenge on his brother for not killing him like the predators wanted. We're really I gotta move ahead on this one. So anyway, so Predator
pick up the pace here.
Predator crash lands on the planet, fights a bunch of stuff. Fights a big tree monster. That one's pretty cool.
Lots of tree monsters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in the beginning I thought it was one, but yeah, it's a bunch of them. And they're like little vines that attack, and they're pretty badass. And then he goes onto like a thing with a bunch of like there's like a spiky field, and is like it's gonna paralyze him. Oh, and also he doesn't have most of the thing. He doesn't have all of his weapons with him.
He goes to a field with a bunch of video game plants that explode when you get near them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that because there's also a little video game robot or video game worm that explodes if you touch it for more than a second.
I love the look he gives.
Handy grenade. Yes, I like that a lot too.
He's just like, come on.
Really, I read that as like, right, yeah, okay, yeah, this is a badass planet.
Like,
but yeah, so
does that make sense?
So there's this fucking field of stuff. There's a bird or something that's throwing rocks at the thing, so they explode and paralyze him. And like that's how the thing is gonna eat him. Very clever. But this is where he finds Elle Fanning's robot. It is all maroon, like it's stuck in a tree and you can't get to him. But it's like, I'll help you. I know what these things are, and also you're gonna get paralyzed by them, so you should free me. He tosses her a knife. He does get paralyzed by them, but she does save him from the big monster, and then they're friends. She's like we're saying, kind of a little bit of a chatty Cathy. Well, yeah. So right. So he doesn't want to take her with him, but she's like, let me come with you and we'll work together. And he's like, no, we don't take friends on trips in Predatorville. And she kind of explains what she is, because I guess I haven't made this super clear. It's only the top half of Elle Fanning. She is a Weyland-Yutani, synth or whatever, droid thingy. So she's a robot person. And he figures out like, oh, that means you're a tool. So like, I can technically bring you along if you're like as useful as my sword, to me. And if you're a robot, you're not a human. So that's fine. And I'm like, good. Yeah. Good way to get around that, Predator. I was hoping you would figure it out on your own, and he does. It's like you're saying, like I was saying before, she's real chatty, but she does know all the stuff about this planet because she recognizes what some of the monsters are. She's here with a bunch of other synths doing some sort of research or something. She has a synth girlfriend, it seems like, but also it's more of a sister. He calls it a sister, I think, and she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. They find a little guy who is a little like, I don't know, like mammal thing that can make itself an armadillo and is small and cute and has big eyes. It helps them fight a big rhino thing, and also another thing that's a big octopus thing in the plants. And also there's a field of spikes. So it helps them through that, and it kind of tags along and becomes the little baby of them, which is pretty cool, ish, I guess. But then they abandon it, so it doesn't matter. We'll never see it again. But then we see Elle Fanning's friend, sister, is alive. So there was like a big massacre or whatever, but she did survive it. And she's back at home base, and they're scanning her stuff for information. So she's now going to go try to find Elle Fanning. So we have two Elle Fannings, legless Elle Fanning and regular Elle Fanning. Regular Elle Fanning is like the badass version of these guys, and these guys have like, there's lots of robots, the Yutani guys, who have like weapons, and they can kind of handle some of this stuff. So you're like, oh, they are going to kill him. Like, this is a predator who's actually kind of finally met his match. And that's kind of cool. It turns into a little backpack, carries around like backpack for a while. They make it to her ship, but it turns, and then she's trying to put her legs back together, and it turns out the Callus is there because they were also hunting the Callus. This is a little reversal of like, oh, you betrayed me. And she's like, you won't be able to kill this thing. And he's like, watch me. And then it turns out the secret of the Callus, and it is like a big giant monster thing, is also, it is unkillable, because if you cut its head off, it'll just like squirm back together and then reform. This thing cannot be, you can't kill it by cutting off a limb or doing any of the other tricks that predators tend to do. Elle Fanning, tall Elle Fanning with legs, went to the predator ship and grabbed some of his stuff, including freeze grenades or something. And they managed to, tall Elle Fanning and her droid friends, managed to find regular Elle Fanning, because regular Elle Fanning, or half Elle Fanning, because legless Elle Fanning also set off a like beacon that was like, I'm at the little ship, so come find me, while she was getting her legs stitched together, which is another betrayal. And they find her and they freeze Predator and the Talisk. So they crushed it.
Really
They got both these guys.
Makes you wonder how the Predators have never killed them when it's a Predator weapon they use to subdue it.
Yeah, and it's like he's got like 7 or 8 weapons, so like you'd figure you would bring all of them. And yeah, this is one that could freeze anything it touches, but doesn't kill them. So like they have the Predator and the Callus now, like in Weyland-Yutani, like has them on like a little train. They're gonna take them home, and the droid, Elle Fanning with no legs, is like now has feelings and love for Predator because they're friends, and she doesn't want them to like dissect Predator and kill him. But Elle Fanning, that has legs, is like, I'm a robot still, and I don't even care, and we're not really sisters, so throw her away in the trash, and then kill the Predator, and also kill the animal too, the Callus, because they're going to use it for like healing or something, which is, yeah, that is what you would use that for. Then legless Elle Fanning calls an audible here, and she's like, I'm going to free the Predator, and me and him are going to go be friends and like be cool together and get revenge, because my society is evil, kind of. The Predator is freed in this situation. Legless Elle Fanning is not, and she gets put in a little box, which is bad. But then Predator has like to learn about himself, and now he has learned to love a person because he can't be in a clan, because this is why I left the little guy. It's like, we're clans of one, or which is, I guess, how you do these hunts at least. But then he's kind of like, maybe I have a clan, and it's not just one, it's others, including Elle Fanning and maybe the little guy. So Predator goes and finds all the monsters and stuff from earlier and makes the Predator armor, but with monsters and stuff, including like a little guy that sits on his shoulder and shoots things that burn you, which is like the gun the Predator usually has. Pretty cool. And then he goes back to the camp to rescue Elle Fanning. Part of this involves using her legs to track her, because they exist. They're just like out there. And if you put them down on the floor, they just walk to her robotically. So that's how he finds her. And then he breaks her out. The 3 of them, Predator, the little guy, and Elle Fanning, are fighting all the guys. They have wonderful techniques, like killing them all with all the different weapons and like creatures around. Elle Fanning does super leg attacks, I'm sure we'll talk about. And then the little guy is also pretty cool. Oh, by this point, she has Predator's figured out the little guy is a baby Callus, and that is his mommy. So that's why they want to protect him. Predator has to get a skull skill, because that's like what he loves to do, and he proves himself, so he's going to go get Elle Fanning's tall Elle Fanning's skull, and she's like, Elle Fanning, save the thing. They do. Elle Fanning frees the big monster. Predator has to fight all the guys, including tall Elle Fanning now, in a big giant mech suit, which is tough for him until the Callus comes in, just like in Aliens. Yeah, and thank God nobody says get away from her, you bitch, because the movie is good instead of bad. And Predator beats this thing up, and then kills her. And then she kills the Callus, which is very mean of her, but then they get her. And then Predator goes back to his home planet now to get revenge on his dad, and he does that with the help of his friends. And also he gets his cloak, which was the cloaking device, because he's figured out how to use that to fuck up his dad, who liked to be cloaked. And also Mom is coming in the next one. That's the corn for you.
God, I really wish you guys could hear.
I know. I've tried to edit it in, but it doesn't, for whatever reason. It only gets the screen. It doesn't get the audio. I can record it on my own. Maybe I will for one of these, especially because these are easier to edit because DJ's not here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a Predator movie where all that stuff happens. Diggins, what did I miss? Were there any interesting details or things that or like little animal guys that I did describe super well?
I mean, you at least touch, except for the acid spitting guys, you touched the little monsters. Legful Elle Fanning is like also sort of like you sort of said it, but like turns on legless Elle Fanning. She's like, saving you was a mistake. You're defective. Goodbye. And you almost forgot to mention that the little guy was a baby Callus, but you got there.
Yeah. There's the point where he's fighting the Callus where you're supposed to kind of, in the first fight, where you're like, this is not the face I expected. And I didn't fully pick up on this, but I was like, that's like a little face. And then yeah, it makes sense
As
to me.
soon as there's a moment at the end of that fight where
Yes.
the predator has lost, and then the Calyx like smells him, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, the other one's a baby because the baby spit on him earlier.
Right. Yeah. And Elle Fanning, who is the master of the planet and knows everything, didn't recognize this baby. So she's like a little bit like, I don't know what this is. So yeah, that also helps to suggest that it is Callus related. There was another thing I realized I forgot. Oh, this is something that is kind of important that I should have mentioned. Elle Fanning, tall Elle Fanning, legful Elle Fanning, has to not just like do all this stuff that she's doing by herself. She has to report to Mother, which is something else or something. It's in charge of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. It might be a robot. It might be a guy. I don't know what they're.
Mother is a recurring. I think it's like an AI.
Oh, okay.
In the Alien movies, that is sort of like basically commanding officer to Weyland-Yutani employees.
So there's the master control program from Tron Ares, but
Kinda.
instead it's a Mother. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's got a very dopey like mu-th.er or something that you're kind of like, that can't be invented for this movie, but it's invented for other movies, then it makes more sense. Yeah, they're just that, that's the end, and they're gonna go fight his mom, who either is more of a badass or is not as much of an asshole as the dad. We don't know. Yeah. So that's this movie. But Diggins, as we know, predators have all kinds of wonderful technology.
That's true.
One piece of technology
that some people say makes the whole idea of their hunts unfair.
Yep. And I'm very glad that they did, there was parts I'll get to, maybe it'll come up. But the technology that they, I guess, have, although they don't really use it that often, is the wheel. It's not like they have like a little predator mobile that he drives around, and the bombs are kind of wheels. They're like circles. I'm sure the predators have figured out the wheel, but they also don't have steering wheels, so maybe not. Call in, everybody, listeners. Let us know which predator uses the wheel more than the others.
Do you think that maybe societies eventually evolve past the need for the wheel, because they have that sci-fi thing where they've got all hover technology and stuff? So like nothing is wheels.
That, or maybe sci-fi technology, like if you as a society build a wheel, then you are on our track. But if you never get the wheel, you have to figure out hover technology instead, which maybe takes a lot longer. But when you get it, you're like way smarter of a society. So like then you can do space travel and Blade Runner stuff. But like we have this crutch of the wheel that we use to we still use wheels to this very day.
That's true. Yeah, maybe we've grown too reliant on the wheel. Maybe humanity will never progress while we're still shackled to the wheel.
Yeah, I think it's probably true. But we are, and podcast manity as well, because we have a wheel with us. And it was once the Outcast wheel, like the Predator was, but now it is not the Outcast wheel because it's back, because we gotta accept everybody. You can't be mad at anybody anymore. It's a big tent podcast we run here. And I got a bunch of things on this wheel. They're it's a slightly smaller wheel because it's just the two of us. But I'm going to spin it and we'll start nitpicking a couple of things. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Here we go. Spin the wheel. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, this one is one of yours, Diggins. What you got?
Oh, yeah. It landed on one of mine that just says Alfja mail, which is that at one point. At one point, Elle Fanning trying to describe to him how, but it's when they've abandoned the baby, and she's like, "You shouldn't abandon the baby. He was like one of us," and he was a wonderful marketing opportunity. We need more FaceTime with the baby. And he's like, "I don't give a shit." So she starts telling him about wolves back on Earth and how they're cool, badass predators, but they work together in packs. And the leader is the alpha because he protects everyone. And all that Deck takes away from this is, I will be a cool alpha who's good at killing.
Yeah.
Which, really feels like a pretty basic summary of all alpha male discourse.
Yeah. And
so maybe he understood the concepts better than we realize.
Yeah, my eyes rolled a little bit when they talked about this in the movie. It's funny that in the movie she's like, wolves have alpha males, and I was like, oh, he's gonna start calling himself an alpha predator or something. But instead, he takes wolf from that and just starts using the word wolf a little bit.
The human word wolf, because because the whole movie he's like doing his weird predator clicks and clacks, but like when he says wolf, he's like, wolf.
Yeah, how did he hear that from her? What? Because now that's a great point. Wait, yeah, because clicks and clacks are his language. She has universal translator language, but I'm assuming he hears clicks and clacks, right?
That's what she says, is like, you hear it as your language, other people hear it as their language. So
how did she possibly convey wolf to him?
To him, she's only been speaking in Yautja. Well, maybe because wolves don't exist on the Yautja planet. When she says wolf, the universal translator is like, there's no translation. So she just says so she's like, wolf.
Yeah, it's like in watching like a Spanish TV like a what are they called, telenovela, and then they just throw in a word like Spider-Man, and you're like, oh yeah, I know that word. Cool. But yeah, the wolf thing, they must, I mean, maybe they don't have wolves, they gotta have something wolf-like. You'd be like that little guy over there, but bigger and with hair. But I don't know what animals, the predator as like a species, do they have like animals, or do they just kill everything the minute they get it?
Well, they must, because at the very beginning of the movie, they do that classic gag where there's a little thing that gets eaten by a bigger thing, that gets eaten by a bigger thing, that gets eaten by a bigger thing.
Yeah, but in that scene, was that scene on Predator Planet, or was that on like Training Planet or something?
I assume that is Predator Planet. There's just a training area of Predator Planet.
That makes sense. Yeah, I did like that thing. That was cool. It was weird that he didn't kill it. He just ran it over with his hover cycle or whatever, but still pretty cool.
Anyway, the point of this Wheel Slice is, which alpha male podcast do you think Deck would fit in the best in?
Let's see. I don't think Deck. Well, okay, alpha male podcast. So Andrew Tate. Deck doesn't necessarily traffic a human by bringing her around the planet. However, not unlike, it's not unlike she is a human, so he kind of brings her around, which I believe Andrew Tate was accused of certain things and in Romania or something. So allegedly, maybe get into that.
Arrested for those things. It's
that's true. He was arrested for them, but he's back. He's back, he got podcasting.
Extradited to the U.S., I believe, because certain people, perhaps related to certain things that he had done, and decided to make sure he got sent back here.
That's a great point.
But see, the thing is, I feel like Andrew Tate places a big value on like material wealth, being like, you got to have your Lambos, you got to look cool and badass all the time by showing everyone how rich you are. And I feel like that's not really the Yautja lifestyle,
Yeah, I guess, did the Liver King have a podcast? He feels like maybe that. But I was
thinking that, because the only thing we see him eat is meat.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, because he uses the plant as medicine. He doesn't eat the plant.
The plant is just to cure the paralysis.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the one he at one point like scans the plant and like uses it to like cover a wound.
Oh yeah, also that.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah. He never eats the plant. But then what was the thing with the Liver King? He was taking steroids or something.
Of course he was.
Yeah, so he would be
obviously.
Would the Predator be upset about that, or would the Predator be like, using technology to cheat? Exactly. What it always should be,
That's a good point. Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, like the Predators love using big laser guns and stuff, but do they feel like doing something to alter your biology is fair game? This is the sort of thing we need to have a sit down. He needs to come on Liver King, so they can hash it out.
Yeah, and this is why we need more characters in the movie that are the podcaster in this universe, so we can know what it would sound like. Although Elle Fanning would definitely be a podcast droid or something in this like universe that she's got.
She sure knows how to fill the silence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know too many other. I don't know if Joe Rogan, like with this guy, this Predator seems a little too smart. I think to get tripped up by some of Joe Rogan's nonsense. Yeah. And those are the only alpha males I know. Thank God.
Yeah. The thing is,
There's so many more.
Yeah, the thing is, neither of us go in that space ever, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I don't really know who these people are.
Yeah, maybe for the future I'll look it up just to figure out what their names are, and then fall down that rabbit hole and then completely change my personality.
Yep, that's what happens.
And be more like Predator, this one, the one that is cool and has a family. So, very traditional family. Maybe Ben Shapiro wouldn't hate that, or, that's something that's kind of nice. Although he doesn't marry the little robot at the end, but maybe they'll get married.
This is obviously a discussion for a question at the end, but do you think your typical alpha male watches this and is like, this is attacking my lifestyle because he has to learn to be a protect boy instead of an attack boy?
I think yes, yes, I think they would see it that way. Because Dad said kill your brother and he didn't do that, and I feel like that's very that idea is very alpha male coded. I do think the idea that Predator goes into the jungle and you ever seen those alpha male things where guys go in a course for a weekend in the jungle and they pay $6,000 and get yelled at and shit thrown at them and stuff that kind of feels like when Predator in this movie finds himself and becomes one with nature. He's kind of having that experience, so maybe they'd see themselves in him in that moment and then but except he's pretty cool,
except he's in actual real danger,
right,
and is not being babysat by a bunch of people because he paid the money.
Yeah, well, that's why they would love Predator 1 and the actual Predator movies, is because that's what the rest of the Predators are pretty much doing. They're doing the baby's first hunting challenge. And this one's even cooler than the rest. Do you think if they make another one, he's the protagonist now? Is he the main guy? Is he gonna have to work with Little Prey? Whatever her name was.
Well, again, she's long dead.
Unless she's in cryo sleep in a closet or something, you never know.
She's in cryo sleep in a closet. There was the little credits thing that implied that other Yautja visited her right after the movie.
Wait, was that in this? Oh, you mean in the other in that?
In the other one.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, in Prey, the credits have little still images.
Yeah, those were cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I could see another movie being about Deck and Elle Fanning, but I could easily see it just being something completely different because every Predator movie is something completely different. I don't think there's an actual direct sequel in the entire series.
That's a good point. I wonder. I think part of the problem with the Predator movies and why they don't get direct sequels is they keep making a good one and a bad one, and good one and a bad one. They're never able to continue the momentum. I do think with these 3 Dan Trachtenberg movies, they are all at least critically pretty popular. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a franchisee kind of all right, now make them all kiss. Put all of them in the same movie. That's where you Avengers it, please, because that's how we get the real money out of these guys.
Well, then maybe for some,
I guess, Disney now, right?
I guess it must be because they also own Alien.
Yeah, so that's right up their alley.
What I was gonna say is, do you think that if they do another Deck Predator movie, that as a promotional stunt, he will go on some of these Manosphere podcasts?
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't do Hot Ones at least for this.
It seems right up his alley. It's a challenge of your resilience,
and it's eating meat, or at least it can be. You can get vegan ones if you want, but it mostly is meat. I don't know if they would do super well with He seems like one of those guys that doesn't season his food at all. He just eats the plain meat for, nutrition purposes alone. So I feel like hot sauce would be a real problem for him.
It's a good point. But also, we don't know how Yautja biology works, if they even taste spice in that way.
That's a good question. They should have gotten into this in that one Predator movie with the autism.
They should have.
Someone should have had a fight with the Predator where they throw, spices at him.
He should have stopped off at a food cart and gotten like a hot dog with hot sauce on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have had, or you would have had one guy who was like eating hot sauce the whole movie, and everybody's like, because there was, that movie was so bad. There were like the main characters and then the other main characters, and then like a team of guys that was like Thomas Jane and the friends. And one of them would be the hot sauce one. And then at a critical moment, he would use his hot sauce to incapacitate the Predator or something. And like, that feels like how we would learn Predator to weak to hot sauce. But I guess the question is, would the bomb beyond insanity be the hot sauce that really tips the Predator? Or would like the first hot sauce that the celebrities eat and go, that's pretty good, is that not so bad? Would that be the one that Predator is like, DJ Khaleding, he can't do it. He just has to, has to give up.
Would he, I don't know the host's name. Would he immediately kill the host if he encounters a spice level he can't handle?
I mean, I think because Sean eats the wings at the same time as you, the Predator mindset would be you have to surrender to the host who can eat the spicy wings that you can't eat. Because Sean always gets through the wings.
I guess Sean would then be allowed to kill him.
Yes, exactly. Can you imagine if we lived, what a society where if Sean killed DJ Khaled in like the first season or two of that show, and then we didn't get any DJ Khaled for the last like 10 years. Wow.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I don't know what would be different.
Wouldn't have been in that Bad Boys movie. So that wouldn't have been fun.
Right.
Maybe,
You're right.
Maybe there would have been a whole new kind of wave of what DJ Khaled would call anti-king behavior that would have swept across. Oh, I'm thinking like because he was never there to poison the well and make people think that that's the wrong.
Sorry, you're saying there would be a wave of anti-king behavior. I see.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and maybe that would have changed things in a more significant way that we can't even know. Probably sneakers would have been different too. I know he's a big sneaker guy.
But you know what? I think we've squeezed all the blood from this stone. Why don't we spin that wheel again?
Let's spin it.
And it goes, woo, tick, 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 tick. Oh, Nando, it landed on one of yours.
So this one, just a little quick one. I called this one Preds Maker or Peace Eater. I just want to point out, as I was watching this movie, when he picks up Elle Fanning and makes her his chatty little companion, I was like, oh, she's kind of like the vigilante to his peacemaker. And then I was like, wait a second. He caused the death of his brother. And then his evil father, who wears the helmet with the horns on it, was like, I'm going to kill you and I hate you. And that was what sent him on this journey. And I was like, oh, is this like Peacemaker? It's not really, but maybe we're in a wave of like, what if the big giant tough guy had feelings media? And more of that even, or more than that even, a kind of James Gunn inspired, what if the dad was secretly the bad guy?
Or not secretly.
Actively the bad guy. And the dad represents masculinity or something, or toxic masculinity and predator culture. Maybe it's just because I missed the Peacemaker show, although I didn't love the ending, but like one of those kind of everywhere I look, I see the Peacemaker. But
like in a cartoon, when you're hungry and you look and you see a ham, everybody's turning into big hams. Everyone's turning into John Cena, and you're like, oh, there he is.
John Cena also famously invisible as part of his superpower set of like his world, the actual superpower set.
You can't see him. His time is now.
And Peacemaker very frequently empowered by some random bullshit helmet or whatever that lets him win the fight. So very, very Predator-esque as well.
I'm not gonna lie, missed last season.
No, in fact, he even had like a different helmet, and I don't even think we saw what that one did. Like he didn't use it for anything special. They forgot a lot of stuff. They probably were going to put that in later, but they're too busy improvising bird stuff, which is great, you know. And that's the other thing is Elle Fanning knows all the birds and all the bird facts, so
that's true.
You're right up there.
But she actually does know the bird facts.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Peacemaker's missing is like a little baby Yoda who we can pick up and go like, you're cute. I guess he had Eagly, you know, but Eagly's
like a baby Yoda.
He's baby Yoda-esque. You know what? Actually, yeah.
And we did learn in season 2 that Eagly maybe does occupy a heightened space in the animal hierarchy, like the cat.
That's right. And like in Peacemaker, for like what I do think is kind of a shocking turn of events, this movie ends up being about fighting like a big giant gooey monster thing. Like how in Peacemaker season 1, you had to fight the big giant gooey monster thing. Although that was a little different because he doesn't kill it in this. But yeah, all in all, this movie is Peacemaker. I hope that is like something James Gunn takes personally. And like maybe Bob Iger or whichever Bob is in charge now was like, make the Peacemaker, make that Predator, then because fucking we hate him because he stole all the secrets. And if that's the case, that's pretty cool. That they did that. Yeah. What'd you think of like the design of the dad? I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Predators traditionally look pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I do like the way this movie sort of varies up the basic Predator design so that we can like differentiate individual Predators.
Yeah. Yeah. White hair on the dad or white tentacles or whatever that is, was a cool look. And yeah, big giant thing. Big giant helmet. Oh, also speaking of John Cena, when you heard him talking about the cloak, I wasn't sure. Did I miss this? Like, did he explicitly say the cloaking thing? Or were you supposed to, for the beginning of the movie, think he was looking for a cape?
No, because like in the very beginning, when they're in the training cave, like the brother uses his invisibility at one point, and I think he says something about like, you're using your cloak.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I got it from the start, like, oh, that's the thing that lets them be invisible.
I didn't even, not that I didn't catch that, but I think I was like, he's using the honor of that you get when you earn your special cape. And I didn't put that together until the end, and I was like, that's clever. But it's good at least that they have to earn one thing, which is the power to be invisible.
That's true. He gets all the other sick ass toys. Well, I guess actually, we don't know that he would normally get those on this hunt because
that's true.
He gets sent in his brother's ship.
Yeah.
Because of the dad wanting to kill him. So perhaps normally he would not have access to those things.
Yeah, the only tools he has that seem to belong to him are his little vibra sword or whatever and the grappling hook thing. But anything else, I think you could assume is the brothers. So yeah, maybe he hasn't earned any of this stuff. Maybe this is like a Batman game where every time a predator goes to a new planet, they have to like start back at 0 and earn all their guns and stuff. And you're like, wow, lucky for these criminals, lucky for the Victor Zaz of these guys. They're not immediately, exploded by an exploding batarang. But yeah, anyway, that's Peacemaker. Spin the wheel again. Tick, 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 tick. Landed on one of yours, Diggins.
Oh my goodness, it did?
It did.
Wow.
I know, what are the odds? It could be one of these days, it's just going to land on the same one of us over and over again because, statistically that has to happen. That's going to be a really funny podcast.
Yeah. Well, I do have one here that's labeled Get Down, Mr. President. The number of times a person either dives into the way of something or like tackles a person out of the way of something or like dives to take something for someone got comical by the end of the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Which was your favorite? Or, well, do you want to go through some of the most exciting ones?
Okay, so obviously there's the first one, which is when the first scene with Elle Fanning, when he's succumbing to the paralysis and the big bird monster is coming to eat him, and then she leaps out of frame to beat up the bird, to kill the bird monster, which when you think about it is like, she don't got legs. How'd she do that?
I mean, like, so they have like their little arms and they are like super strong. Can she just scramble real fast if she wants to? But around him, she like doesn't do it. But when she's off screen, she can, like a little spider. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess maybe she basically did like a handspring, but without the lower half of your body.
Yeah. They're very like coordinated, these guys usually. The Weyland Yutani robot guys.
It's true.
They can like shoot basketballs and stuff.
Then there is when they're fighting the bone bison and the Luna bug, the little baby Bud.
Bud, right? He does get a name. I forgot about that.
And Deck, like back and forth, do like diving tackles to each other to save each other from stuff. Obviously, there's the character we all came to know and love, the little eel that sits on his shoulder and spits acid. Sacrifices himself to save him from the laser cannon. Obviously, that was
how much time passed between when he got that thing and when it became so loyal to him that it would give up its own life, because it seemed like he gave it treats twice and then it became his like pet.
I think it was at most a few hours.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's cool.
So I think that one is my favorite because it was the most like, you're doing this now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shocked by that one. But also surprised now that I think about it, why did he only have the one of those? Was it just because usually he's used to one arm cannon gun and that's because like he could have come in with 50 of them if...
Maybe he was worried about carrying enough food for all of them. If he didn't have food, then they'd turn on him.
That's true, yeah. Those guys were super helpful.
Yeah. Oh, turns out, like, we never saw him get hit by them, so we're like, oh, I don't really understand how bad these are, but that thing melts a synth.
Yeah. And synths are usually pretty durable. I feel like we don't really know, or at least I don't know, like, what the human to predator stabability is or something, but like the synth I feel like are traditionally quite tough, and that's just from that one show that I just watched, the Alien show. Did you watch that, Dickens? I can't remember.
I did watch it.
They're like borderline superhuman if they want to be. So yeah, that was
although like in Alien movies, which all take place after that show.
After. Yep.
They just get fucking destroyed by the alien every time they show up.
Yeah. And I guess like the power scaling of them is pretty like, although most of the aliens, like, I feel like if they sent one of the ultra badasses to alien movies, it would be different. But the synths on the alien movies are always just like some kind of dorky old guy scientist.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, yeah, I feel like if they had the little girl from the show, or even Elle Fanning's, even half of Elle Fanning, I think you could probably kill an alien. Which half depends, but yeah.
But then I think there's like 3 more before this final confrontation is over, because like the Callisk saves him from being killed by mech loader Elle Fanning. Then like he like tackles her out of the way of Elle Fanning, and like the little guy I think does a save at one point, like killing a bunch of the synths for him. Like there's a lot of someone tackles from out of frame to save somebody else in this final confrontation.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how much the actual final death, well, I guess not the final death, his dad, but killing Elle Fanning, like full Elle Fanning, is just he walks up to her and takes the gun away and was like, fuck you. And then the Bud does Mortal Kombat finisher, rips her head out by her spine and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, um, there was a lot of that. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I mean, listen, it is a cool guy maneuver. It's just we got to the end and I was like, they did that a lot.
They really did. Did they? I wonder if this is a Dan Track. Can we go back into other Dan Trachtenberg movies like Prey and Killer of Killers? Go like, oh my god, it's all of these movies. They're just guys jumping in front of the thing. Killer of Killers probably has more of it because it is usually like a group of guys gets attacked by a predator. So there are a couple of sacrifices. I imagine Prey would be tough because besides the brother, there really aren't very many allies she has that could do that.
Maybe the French guys were doing it constantly in that scene where he kills a bunch of French people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dan, he got it out of his system in that one scene by having every French person, like they all get killed immediately, but it's always the wrong one because right off screen, another guy jumps in frame and takes the, hunting, like bear trap for that other guy. We just don't see it because
that must be it.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Anyway, why don't I spin this wheel another time? Here we go with a tick, 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 tick. Oh, Nando, it landed on one of yours once again. Oh. Just really keeping up the pattern.
I mean, yeah, odds that this would happen are the most, like probable, I guess. But eventually,
I mean, it's straight coin flip, 50-50.
Right, and eventually, is it unlikely that they would all be one other, right? Like, wouldn't it be more likely if one of them was the same one in a row? Or is that not more statistically?
Well, so it really depends on how you look at it. So like if you're looking at it individually, it's nothing is more likely than anything else. Cause like you spin, it's 50-50, you or me. Spin, 50-50, you or me. It's just always 50-50. If you're looking at as a whole, like what is the odds that it follows this specific path? Then, you have it each time. So 50% for the first one, 25 for the second, 12.5 for the third, etc. But, so it all depends on how you want to think about it.
Well, that's good. But anyway, this is one of my wheel slices. This is the wheel slice that is, I would say, well, predator related. It may bring up other things, but this is a question. And it's just, what's your excuse, Dad, from Onward? I want to talk about the scene where Elle Fanning's legs kill everyone.
I know. I had something for this too, but mine was just, I'd let her kill me.
Well, there's that too, for sure. I don't think I'd have a choice, because of how sick the legs are. And like, I feel like I've seen this trope. I don't know what this trope is called, or like what, I don't have a lot of great examples of this. Like Deadpool does it sometimes, where like a detached half of his body is able to kind of command the other half, but it's usually just to pick him up. I don't think I've ever seen one like this where they work together as one guy to do karate moves at the people that they're fighting and are so coordinated that they can like having like, it's funny because it's not like she's fighting regular guys in this scene for people that don't know. So in the movie, like I said, the legs are, the predator uses them to find her, because once he takes the legs, just like plops them down, they will walk to Elle Fanning in a very like kind of matter of fact, walk, not sprinting or like hiding. But when they get to Elle Fanning, before they're able to like do anything cool, people keep getting in the way of them. So the legs take down the guys by themselves in the kind of like Black Widow jump on your neck and flip you over kind of way. But then also, once Elle Fanning is freed, the legs and Elle Fanning work together to beat up guys. And I guess for me, my thing was like, wait, they can all do this. Why don't they do this? Like, why is Elle Fanning's character, like, I have an enormous advantage. I have the legs that are detached. I can beat up all the other synths. Like, and I guess maybe her synth is different, so maybe it's just like better. But yeah, this seems like what all of them should be able to do. And
I do get the impression that the Elle Fanning model is perhaps a more advanced model than the regular grunts.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
But also, her legs aren't supposed to detach. She was ripped in half by a big monster.
Right. And it's even interesting just that they work together that way at all. But yeah, I feel like I guess the reason it's like not supposed to detach, but it's like in a show like this or in a movie like this, it is usually like Deadpool going like, pick me up, legs, come on. But in this, they're like, oh shit, let's use one of our awesome, backflip things that we either have always been thinking about. What would it be like if we ever got the opportunity to do this, or just came up with in this moment because it's so obvious that this is how we should be fighting. But yeah, this, even though it's not really a Predator scene, this scene is the coolest scene for me with fighting because of how creative they get. Especially the bits where like the leg kicks the crowbar at the guy and then Elle Fanning pulls him down to it and then the leg jumps on the crowbar again and cuts his head off. Like, just really cool. And like, yeah, just wild.
It is a really cool scene. I did like the way they sort of coordinated between the two halves.
Yeah.
I wonder, we do so much, like you said, of the Black Widow flippy leg lock stuff these days for women characters in action movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to have kind of a play on that style by having it be executed by two separate halves of her body.
Yeah. And I do think, for like, assuming that they do make a sequel to this that maybe incorporates all the characters, but at least these ones come back, I would love a moment where predators are fighting her and they cut her in half thinking she's dead. And then regular Predator, our guy, looks at her and is like, oh no, they don't know what they just did. And then she starts doing, he like tosses her. Because it just, and also like we've seen so many of these synths get killed before. And yeah, you could say like she is maybe the most advanced version of these because, like I said, this takes place as far in the future as any of these ever have, except for one that this kind of ignores. But like, she's years better than Michael from the Prometheus movies and like you mean
David
or David, right.
He's played by Michael Fassbender,
right? Yeah. But yeah, like she's way better than him. And I feel like in these movies, he's probably the best one of these we've ever seen. And the ones on the show are way worse, even though some of them do pretty cool stuff because they're the least advanced ones. Although they're different than her because they're like human brains in a robot body.
Yeah.
Right?
So like,
yeah, maybe they
she's fully synthetic. Like, what's his name? Who's that character? Who's that actor's name?
Yeah, I know. I like the one who shows up in the last movie as like a CGI guy for no reason. Awful. Yeah, they can't help themselves. What the fuck is his name? I could see him. I could draw him. How about that? That would be more helpful. Let's look it up.
The character's name is Ash. So if you look up Ash Alien,
Ian Holm from Bilbo from Lord of the Rings.
Of course.
Yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, also next time that happens to one of these guys, though, I'm probably going to be like, you should get it together. You should all be as cool as Elle Fanning's one was.
There's no excuse now.
Yeah, there's no excuse. Like, oh no, the alien separated me from my legs. All right. Great. Maybe she's like in better shape than some of the rest of these guys because she's like kind of, a more athletic model than say an Ian Holm type. Like maybe your android has to be able to do a backflip on its own before the legs can coordinate one.
I think that's a fair requirement.
Yeah.
It would be kind of weird if getting cut in half made you more athletic than you normally are.
Well, it could be like in Spy Kids 3D, where because Grandpa is paralyzed, his arms are double strength. So if we give him legs, he'll be even stronger. But I guess that would only work if it was like that for a while. But yeah, I thought that scene was pretty cool, and it doesn't really have anything to do with Predator. So it makes me a little like, I feel a little cheapened, or it feels cheap to pick that as the main action scene that would stand out. And the other action scenes with sword fighting were cool. But yeah, something about that one, I don't know what it was. It was even cooler than that.
Yeah, something about watching
put my finger on it.
The disembodied legs of an attractive woman choking a man out. You were like, this better not awaken something in me.
Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna top it in Predator Badlands 2 or whatever, but maybe they'll split up into two different legs and each leg will do its own kicks.
They'll
And,
certainly be focused on topping it, I'll tell you that.
yeah, oh yeah, that's true. That's
Mm.
true. Oh, what if she gets more legs? What if next time we see this character, she's scavenging legs from other things, and then she like starts a fight, and then all the legs scurry into the other opposite sides of the room? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, but there's one more thing on the wheel. I'm gonna spin the wheel real quick. Tick, 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 tick. I don't know statistically what this means, but it did land on one of yours.
Well,
So
I am
think
it is the last one, so I mean, it was 100% chance this time.
the odds are pretty high.
It landed on one of mine here, which just says another L for Short Kings.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because, so, like we said, Deck is small for a Yautja, for a predator. Still pretty large for a human, but like whenever we see him with other Yautjas, they're noticeably larger than he is.
Yeah, and I feel like he stands face to face with some of the, I'm assuming, human-sized synths. He isn't that much bigger than them.
Yeah.
You know?
So like he's a big guy in terms of like he's a big sized normal human as opposed to a regular Yautja, which is like 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
And people in this movie can't stop talking about how pathetic and deformed he is.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how he gets the complex, you know? That's why he has to go fight the biggest, giantest monster.
But it starts with like his dad obviously being like, he's weak, he's a pathetic little weakling, we need to kill him. And it's like, okay, that's Yautja society, you know,
right?
They're toxic masculinity.
Mm.
But then he gets captured by Wayland Yutani, and the two obviously legless Elle Fanning is just doing this to try to get him released.
Right.
Leg full, Elle Fanning is completely agreeing, where she's like, he's a completely malformed, defective example of the Yautja species. He's like, they're talking about him like he is the character from 300.
Yeah. That guy, yeah, who is, Quasimodo, but of 300s or whatever.
Yeah, I forget his name. But they're talking about him like, yeah, like he is a completely, like, physically twisted, hideous version of a Yautja. And it's like, he's just a little short.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, don't even get me started, except I do think that, like, I think it's especially funny the way that other scene where they talk about how defective he is, because Elle Fanning, who short legless Elle Fanning, some would say the best Elle Fanning in the movie and the shortest one technically, but she is like making the case he's defective, we have to get rid of him, like don't cut him open and use him for parts or whatever. And like full Elle Fanning, who's working for Mother, who's already decided she's going to do this, is like, I think we should. And legless Elle Fanning is like, no, but it's not even that good. And it's like, we're not deciding if we should let him be president or something. We're just deciding if we should cut him open and use his blood for parts or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, he has to really suck as a predator if that was a convincing argument of like, it's more trouble than it's worth to cut open this super predator, because he is one of the smaller predators I've ever seen, which is Zero, I guess. I don't know. This is weird too, because like in this world, how many predators have they been exposed to? Like, do they know who any of these guys are? They
do seem to, they know the word Yautja, first of all.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Legless Elle Fanning says she has studied the Yautja people. I don't think she's ever met one necessarily, but she's very well aware of them.
Yeah, so then it seems like it would be a big enough deal. Even if it's a little smaller, in fact, it would be great to have the smallest one first, because then, you know, we wouldn't get our hopes. Like, we'd be like, we'd have a pretty badass one, but in the future, if we ever want to get a bigger one, that would be even cooler. Like, you could trade up in the future to make yourself look like you're better at hunting predators, but it's probably hard to come home with your second Yautja and it's the short one, and not be like, couldn't have gotten a taller Yautja? Like, come on. So,
Well, Nando, the thing is though, when it's a shorter than average version of the species, it really is essentially completely worthless. There's no value to be found, especially him being a male Yautja, being
that's
a shorter
true.
male. That's like the lowest value a thing can be.
Yeah, there's
So,
times. I mean, it's kind of helpful, honestly. Times where like, there's people that are gonna be like, let's cut that guy's head off, and I'm like, but you guys realize I'm short, and they're like, yeah, it wouldn't be worth it to even use the knife to do that. Like, it would be a waste of knife. It'll probably break slightly sooner if we do
it'll
that than if
dull
we
the
don't do
knife.
it.
If we cut
Yeah,
off your head, it'll dull my knife, and you're so short, it's really not worth that.
exactly. And so I do think as a survival instinct, it's not terrible.
I believe we call that the "I'm just a little guy" defense.
I'm
I'm just a little birthday boy. Come on, it's my birthday.
They should have done that. Oh, he never even tries that in this movie, till like the big rhinoceros or the field of spikes.
I think it might have
His
worked.
birthday. Yeah, I think so too. Is there anything else about this movie? Okay, holy questions of this movie. Would Joey defeat it?
Could our pal Joey finish? I gotta say, probably not.
Yeah, predators are one thing, but the wild animal parts of it, it's like really hard to get through that. I don't think Joey has the skill set for that. I also don't think Joey could fight a synth.
I think what would happen is Joey would get to the field of exploding needles. He would see Elle Fanning up there, and he would just go like, "Hey, how you doing?" and like try to go near her, and then he'd get paralyzed by plants and then eaten by the big bird, because instead of like throwing her a knife or something, he was trying to get some.
That's true. Yeah, and does Joey? You said Joey has a lot of sisters. He doesn't have a brother, right?
Nope.
Have we ever met his parents before?
They are both in, I think, exactly one episode of Friends.
Are they tough? Is the dad so tough that he wouldn't even, or is he more caring? And would he maybe have not sent Joey on this mission at all? Like, would Joey not be in this situation to begin with?
I think Joey's dad would maybe not have been as mean about it, but he probably would send him on the journey.
Okay. Then yeah, I think Joey would be in some trouble, which, yeah, not good.
It's yeah, it doesn't look good, but of course, there's another short king we have to ask about if they could survive. Nando, could you beat this?
No. Even if I'm the predator in this movie, so like I think I've made the case. In fact, this may have been what started these, that I could kill a predator for sure. They have too many obvious weaknesses and like things you could exploit, where it's like, oh, if you can cloak yourself in heat vision, they can't find you or whatever. But like with this, it's like you gotta fight all the monsters of the jungle, and I hate hikes and all that stuff. So like the first time the tree arm tries to eat me, I'm fucking done. And then also you have to fight the synths, and I don't think it's as easy to like. If you're the predator, it's probably not super hard. Even the predator, though, he's good at fighting the synths, but he's mostly aided by his little guy on his shoulder shooting acid at them. So like, if I can manage to
getting distracted by a comely pair of legs walking down
or that, right? Like that's the other thing is like if the legs are able to do like I can't do backflips and do kicks like those legs, so I probably can't kill the guys that way. So really, I've got a hope, and this isn't. You know what? Actually, this is how I could kind of get through this movie. Is I think I would befriend the little guy for sure, and then his mom is the super monster. We don't know that, but then eventually it would probably come in handy. Like he'd find her, and then I just ride that through the rest of them and eat everybody or something. So, but the problem is I wouldn't make it that far because I'd get eaten by the trees. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think I could have survived the badass planet of Badlands. Which nobody's perfect.
oh yeah,
but then
I do have to,
Oh, yeah.
to revise my opinion of this movie because you did just remind me that nobody says the name of the movie in the movie.
That's true. It's not even the Badlands. It's
Yeah.
something else. It has another name.
Gena, I think is the name of the planet.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
It's a real wasted
Great.
opportunity.
And, but then, is this movie woke?
You know, it's, I struggle with this because, you know, it's an action movie with about a big, strong man proving himself, you know, making the haters the waiters at his table of success.
How dare you? How dare you? Badlands is my favorite planet. Sometimes a predator ship crashes into the city, and sometimes a guy eats a little plate of salami or whatever and stuff. Those are the two options. I miss him so much already.
You know, I think Gena is the New York of deadly science.
Predators value three things: hard work, family, and affordability or something. I can't remember. But every morning before I get up, I tell my clan, don't break any predator laws. Don't dishonor the clan. We're not doing that today. So that's how you know. Oh my god, he was the best, and they're awful, but so weird. I miss him so much.
He's not even gone. He's still the mayor right now.
I know, but he did leave though. Did you see the interview at the day of the race where he was wearing like a tuxedo shirt for some reason? And he's like, all right, good luck everybody. And like walks off camera. I think he thinks he's done. So like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope somebody's in charge, but also it's harder to kind of justify hoping he's in charge than nobody. So
to anyone who's been hopelessly lost the past couple of minutes, these are all paraphrases of real things said by current New York Mayor Eric Adams.
Yes, the crown prince of Turkish Airlines with more frequent flyer points than you can ever imagine. And yeah, I don't know where we'll see him next, what his next move is going to be. He didn't help Trump, so maybe jail.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're going to collect on that crime. So that'll be fun. But if not, he's going to be so good on like Dancing with the Stars or whatever his next move is. You can't wait. It's going to be the first time a non-dancing celebrity wins Dancing with the Stars. That'll be what a treat. But yeah. What were we? Oh, right, the wokeness.
You were talking about the woke because I was saying it's about a man proving himself, proving the haters wrong, and all that, and it's an action movie. So like a lot of things, you know, that would make your typical person concerned about whether a movie is woke or not be like, yeah, this movie's cool. But then it's kind of a movie about having to move past toxic masculinity. Yeah. It's sort of learning a healthier relationship with your masculinity, which pretty woke.
Yeah, and also this society, and I don't know if this has always been true of the Predator society, seems to be one where the mother is more of a badass than the father, based on the way that the movie teases the mother's arrival being like, fuck, it's her. She's the next movie. So matriarchal society or something. That pretty woke. Corporation is bad. That's kind of woke. I mean, this isn't a woke Predator movie the same way that Prey is a woke Predator movie.
Right.
I do think it is woke for a Predator movie. Yeah.
Because Prey has a non-white woman as the lead actor, which is the number one way to have your movie be woke.
All of our heroic French-Canadian fur trappers get eviscerated by the Predator instead of all the native people who, you know, I guess are infringing on their fur trapping route or whatever. But yeah, I think this is about as woke as a Predator movie can get, with the Predator movie, the Predator being the main character. I don't think it gets much woker than this. To the point that like part of me is like, maybe he's gonna like just like his mission is now to destroy Predator capitalism or whatever and like completely upend their society. So maybe by the end of this, they'll be like pretty chill, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah. there any other questions? I can't remember. I guess where would Hutch fit into this? He'd probably, you know what? He's like the short king of Predator, so he'd actually be pretty awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
the only role for a regular looking male human in this movie is as the synths that aren't Elle Fanning.
That's
there is
true.
no other male human role in this movie.
Yeah. That's a shame. Otherwise, I feel like they could have gotten him, but he's been busy. He's got a big week coming up, or big like month coming up with.
Oh yeah, his December's going to be popping off.
Yeah, so he doesn't need this. He's happy to give it to some other actor. So yeah, that's Predator Badlands. Pretty cool. Do you want to get to our classic segment, Diggins?
I would love that.
All right, let's recommend some things to the fine people. This is where I would usually ask DJ if he wants to recommend something, but he's probably recommending, going on missions and stuff, and having a little thingy
and adopting alien children in a orphan cub type situation.
So we'll skip that for now and go over to Diggins. Diggins, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I have a couple things. For one, I watched a couple movies. I went by the Museum of the Moving Image and caught a screening that they had of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which is a movie I've never seen before.
And neither have I. Pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun. It's the fictionalized life story of the real, like, Twilight of the Old West outlaws, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yep.
Sort of like charting like the end of their careers as things became more difficult for them in the West, and they ended up fleeing elsewhere to try to continue their bank robbing ways. It's a movie that is like less about like the plot and is very much about like the chemistry and charm of the actors involved. Those two in particular being Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
From Captain America the Winter Soldier and Avengers Endgame.
That's right. And Catherine Ross as sort of like their third, because this is a movie about a bank robbing polycule.
Oh, that's fun.
Like
Joey, if
like
they
Joey.
rob banks.
Yes.
Once he makes that move.
Also, none of them are related to each other.
That they know of.
That they know
It's
of.
going to be some. They need to make a prequel.
But yeah, no, so it's a really fun movie. Just like the two leads are really charming, and just sort of like their banter and their interactions keep things fun. And though it's not really about the plot, it's still well paced. We're sort of like there's always like forward momentum of things happening, so it like moves along at a nice clip. So yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot. And then I also caught a new movie this week, one that I had drafted in the Ultra Movies Fantasy League. Not only drafted, one I had recommended as a potentially nice, cheap purchase. I saw the Mastermind, Kelly Reichardt's new movie.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I liked it. I'm a big fan of Kelly Reichardt in general. I think I've caught everything she's made since Certain Women. And so it's interesting. It's an interesting movie because it's kind of like both is and is not very characteristic of her style. It is in the sense that it's a very like deliberate, like measured sort of movie. A lot of like hanging on one shot for a while of someone doing something, and just really being about sort of inhabiting like the mind space of one character, being sort of like the main drive of what's happening. But it is about it is kind of a heist movie too. It's about the main character Josh O'Connor like planning and executing an art heist from a museum.
Oh, like those guys in real life. Does he have a big ladder?
Unfortunately, no. Maybe it would have gone better for him if he had a big ladder.
Yeah.
But it's set in the 70s also. It's not modern day.
Oh, they didn't have ladder technology like
They
they
didn't
do
have
now.
they didn't have the ladders that they needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But uh, it's sort of just about like the heist happens in like the first act, and the rest of the movie is more about the aftermath and how his life completely falls apart.
Mm.
Basically entirely through his own fault. So like it's a little because it's like has this heist and like has this sort of action, it's a little more propulsive, a little more like, I don't want to say action oriented because it's still a very like slow measured movie, like I'm saying, but a little bit more of that than her movies usually are. It's also very bleak. Like I said, it's a movie about this man destroying his own life for no reason.
So is it a cautionary tale made by the art critic community and like the Louvre that was like, well, don't steal art because look at what will happen to your life. Even non-art related things will probably turn bad, so not worth it.
You know, I would say it's more don't steal art and be stupid about it.
That's important. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Like if you're clever, like those Louvre guys, go nuts.
Yeah, although most of them are caught, but maybe not all of them. You never know.
Maybe not all of them.
Yeah, I hope it's okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And then I also watched a TV show, which I believe you also watched.
Mm-hmm.
I caught the first 2 episodes of Pluribus, Vince Gilligan's new show, starring Rhea Seehorn.
Vince Gilligan, the guy from that one episode of Community where he's a prospector in one of those like games where it's like a live action game where you press the, you know what I'm talking about?
The DVD game, yes, of course.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy?
That guy. Nice. Mm-hmm. It's nice that he's finally dipping his toes into making a show.
Yeah, that can go a lot of ways, you know. Sometimes those are good, sometimes they're bad for shows by directors that were only one episode of Community and nothing else. So
sometimes they break bad.
Sometimes, but not yet. We'll see. So far, what do you think of Pluribus? A word that I hate to say.
Pluribus.
Also, a word that I don't think they have said in the show yet, unless I am missing it.
No, I mean, you know what the word pluribus is, right?
Well, that's my thing. I'm like, are they going to start just calling themselves Pluribus, or did the movie sneakily read in the word Pluribus as like, did it happen somewhere else? Like, character was reading a seal or whatever.
I was gonna say, have there been any coins on the show?
Yeah, I don't know. That.
Yeah, so it's a show about Rhea Seehorn as the sort of like embittered author of romance novels, who finds herself as one of the only people on Earth immune to an event that has caused the vast majority of Earth's population to enter a hive mind.
Yeah.
Cool. Which is an extremely strange premise that I think they are really making the most of so far.
Yeah.
I am really enjoying it. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
I mean, I think it's great.
I like, obviously the performances are all incredible. Like the direction and the filmmaking is very interesting. There's like a really long sequence of shots like when it all first starts happening.
Yeah,
I think just like going into all the detail of showing all of that, I felt was like the way they did it, I found really cool.
Yeah, I saw some people pointing out that like this is so unusual for prestige TV. Like if this was another show, that would be episode 7 or something like that. You know, we'd flash back to when it all fell apart. I'm glad they opened with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like once they really get into like the actual premise and idea, the sort of like the places they go with it and sort of like the concepts they bring up, I think have been really interesting. So I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah, I feel like, and it's the only Vince Gilligan thing I've watched besides that one episode of Community he was in. So even if you're not a big Breaking Bad fan, this is still pretty good. I have heard this is what his X-Files is like, and it makes me want to watch the episodes of X-Files that he wrote, but I've never tried to get into that. So I might soon, though.
Yeah, I think this has been like a long gestating project of his, and I think it even originally developed from an X-Files like thing idea he had that he never used.
Makes sense. It feels super X-Filesy because it really is like, it's like that, I mean, if anything, it reminds me of that, it's like, it's a little bit of that, what's it called? Not X-Files. I'm thinking Twilight Zone episode where the guy's glasses break and he's in the apocalypse, and it's like, that, but it's interesting too, because like, I think the thing about it that's strange, and this is true of Breaking Bad from what I know, but like, I think Breaking Bad gets a lot, it's hard to look back at like the big moments of Breaking Bad and not have like the fucking crazy ass scene where he says a fucking crazy thing and shoots a guy or whatever. But like, the show is pretty funny when it's not being super bleak or it's being really like surreal, and that bit of it is kind of funny. So I do think it's not as arduous as any like kind of prestige TV watch these days automatically is. Like, it's funny because if you watch just the first episode, you'd be like, oh, this is like Last of Us. Okay. And I didn't like Last of Us, but this is better because it has humor and it's interesting.
It is a very funny show. Yeah, I didn't really say that, but you're right.
Yeah, it's great. And people that smile are fucking scary, and we got to do something about them. That's something that I learned from this show. And another show that I might recommend is that like, nothing is scarier than just a person that shouldn't be smiling. That is bad.
That's the premise of that movie, Smile.
That's right. And Smile 2 to a lesser extent. Smile 2 is about fame and fortune. But this is kind of about that. And I like that because it's interesting because like you were saying, this is an old project of his. I don't know exactly what that like, but it's something an idea that's been kicking around for a while, but it's so interesting how like it is kind of a COVID project. Like, it's kind of a project about, isolation and stuff like that. And it's also kind of an AI project about like a writer who's fighting against the mob stuff. So like, it's very interesting how prescient it is.
I was thinking about that as I was watching. I was like, this is kind of an AI thing because it's like this undifferentiated mass of all of like history, like condensed down to this one sort of generic expression, and sort of how that's really like flattening of the human experience in a way that is disturbing and unenjoyable for those experiencing it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes and like what the kind of, because I don't think it's going to change. Like, I think it will still have that idea, but I'm interested to see how this character, like, this is one of those shows where watching the first 2 episodes, I have no idea where this is going to end. Where even the first season, I think he said he has a couple seasons kind of planned out, but like, yeah, in a year, where is this show? Is she? It could be anything. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very, very well done and expensive. It's got that Apple money, baby. So like you could see it in every frame where they're doing a cool thing. So it's pretty cool.
But unlike in Amazon shows where you can see all the money they threw at it, the writing is also good.
Yeah, the writing is very, very good. And yeah, it's another reason why I just like Amazon or Apple is crushing it. It's this and Severance, and it's got so many like cool kind of sci-fi things.
Like that show where Jason Momoa's son can see.
That's right. Or that show where Jason Momoa is a guy with his butt out most of the time in like Chief of War or whatever it's called. A lot of Jason Momoa stuff. It's the high concept sci-fi and Jason Momoa network, and also sad therapist stuff. There's that corner of it too. But yeah, Apple TV. Oh yeah, it's definitely. I don't know what the fuck Paramount Plus is doing, so it's better than that, But can't say that definitively. Maybe there's great stuff on Paramount Plus. Everyone loved the second season of the Halo show. We all agree. But Paramount is an evil company. We hate them. So, there's that too.
But that's it for my recs. What about you, Nando? Anything to rec?
Yeah. So obviously also Pluribus. Also really like it. Also hate the title, but I like it. It I like the like blobbiness of the title and how uncomfortable I feel like the word pluribus is to say.
Well, technically, the title is Pluribus.
That's true. It is Pluribus. And that brings up the other problem with the title, which is if I read it at a scan and don't really read it, I just see the word plumbus, which is a Rick and Morty word that they made up for that. But I've seen other people say this too. And yeah, but I think I'm very interested to see where the show goes. And I don't think I've seen Ray Seaworn in anything before. So this is cool. You know, she seems like she's like been at it for a while. And like those Breaking Bad shows, but I just don't watch them, so I don't know what.
Well, she's not in Breaking Bad. She's only in Better Call Saul, but that is the only thing I've really seen her in before is Better Call Saul, where she is like incredible. She's great in that show. So I'm not surprised that she's good in this.
She's in some Veep too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a character named Michelle York from season 7, so late Veep. Okay. I don't know. But I've like recently rewatched Veep, so let's see what this character. Oh, she's the chief of staff to Selena Meyer. Yeah, she is. She's like a blonde woman who's upset, like she's got a scowl because her life is the worst. But yeah, she's within the Meyer campaign, she is referred to as Tom's Amy. So she's that like the chief of staff for Oh, and she's the deputy campaign manager that Tom James cheats on his wife with. Right? I think. Remember that? Where House at the end, she kind of gets one over on him, Selena Meyer, because yeah. So she's in there. I kind of remember her character now. So good for her. But yeah. Cool. Oh, right. So that other stuff. Okay. I also finished Dispatch. The game that is a Telltale game, but not really, but it's about superheroes and dispatching them and stuff. Speaking of TV shows, it's like a TV show where every so often you press a button on the screen and it makes the TV show a little different. And I like that. I think I've never been an enormous Telltale guy. I played the first episode or like whatever season of Walking Dead, however that works, chapter. And then I played, I think the first chapter of the Batman one they made, but, this is the first one where I think it's just I'm so sold on the writing and the tone and like the characters that I do think it could just be a show, and wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they'll do it, but like if someone like Apple or someone who wanted a streaming superhero show that doesn't have one yet, if they just bought this, because it would be cool to have. Netflix could do it too. But I don't want to. I already recommended it a lot, and DJ recommended it a lot. I'll say the finale I loved, and like I think it really came together in a way that I was worried it might not, because I was worried they may go sequely. So they don't do like it's not like a cliffhanger that's unsatisfying, which is good. Other two things in order of how much I like them. So like we're getting worse now. I watched the first 2 episodes of that I Love LA show. Mm-hmm. For the Hutch mostly, just to see what his deal was. But also was curious about it. I think the Hutch is. Have you watched the second episode?
I haven't seen the second one yet. No.
Hutch is funnier in it. I think he gets a little bit more to do. I agree, though. Generally, it's not my thing. I wish it were funnier. I think the second episode finds its footing a little bit by making the influencer friend like the main character almost, because she's so crazy that it makes what's going on more interesting. And also she's got that Jenna Maroney kind of like she's doing stuff and pulling things out of nowhere. And you're like, this is a very like, it didn't feel to me in the first episode like this was enough of a parody of influencers, but now I kind of feel like that's what it feels like with this character. That being said, I still don't think the show is like super funny. So I kind of like it. I'm going to keep going. I like Josh. I'm in it for Josh. And I like other people in it. But yeah, exactly. I'm covering up everybody else that just Josh pictured. And then in the last recommendation, the lowest of the Recs, but maybe for that reason, the highest of the Recs, is a little show called All's Fair. Diggins, have you watched any All's Fair yet?
The yet in that sentence is interesting. I haven't.
I think everybody's gonna by the end. It is an FX original, I assume. It is written by Ryan Murphy. It stars among others, Kim Kardashian, and it is a drama about a lawyer and a team of lawyers who create a divorce kind of like focused practice where they represent wives in high profile divorces. And it is baffling how there's two things about it that are interesting, because it got reviewed and like all the reviews are like it's the worst show all the time or whatever. I agree. I think all of those reviews are right. I was so curious, like I had to see it. The two things that are interesting, it goes in wild directions, especially episode 4, which like this has become one of those shows that I see it and immediately put down whatever I'm doing and watch, because I'm just like, it's fascinating. It also has a weird cast. It's got Niecy Nash, who's in all of the Ryan Murphy stuff, so that one's not that surprising. What's the name of the actress who was in King Kong, the Peter Jackson one, who's like the main Naomi Watts? Is that her name? Yes. So she's in there acting like an actor and like doing a good job. Glenn Close is in there from all those movies that sucked recently. She's fine doing a Glenn Close. Sarah Paulson is in it as like,
of course, it's a Ryan Murphy project.
It is a Ryan Murphy project, and like I was not she's the villain of the show, who has like, she's like the closest I think we've ever gotten, now that I'm thinking about it, even outside of Entourage, to a Lady Ari, where she's the evil lawyer who comes in and insults everybody and always has a quip up her sleeve. So she's great. And then Kim Kardashian is the main character. It just proves, you can't have it all. This woman cannot act. I've never, ever seen acting that's worse. You can't buy it. Something like just so flat. And part of it is probably that she's surrounded by either people like Niecy Nash, who are good actors and also like really good at this, or people like Naomi Watts are just really, talented actors and like are giving bad material, but are managing to make it work. But like giving someone like Kim Kardashian this schlock is just, it gets some really bizarre, like really deadline reads. Also, there's so much of this show about her. So much of the show is this character who is loaded and like super, super rich, going from room to room in a different outfit, like dressing like she is gonna be on the Dick Tracy like villain squad. She has some of the weirdest outfits I've ever seen. There's one bit where she's like, her butt's hanging out of her pants in a way that's like really weird. I don't know how to describe it, but like, it's like, she's like that little girl in the copper tone sunblock commercial, but if her pants were supposed to be like that, but they're her work pants. So yeah, she is awful. And yeah, the show goes in some really bizarre directions. Like especially episode 4 that it hasn't earned. And also like, I'm like, what is the show now? So I wouldn't say people should watch this. However, if you're like me and you do enjoy a really, a real fun kind of piece of special trash, Kim Kardashian leading this show is the best part. Like, she's just, I don't know, she's a bad person. I don't know what her deal is. She's a complicated figure where, everybody on earth knows who she is, that she's a billionaire or whatever. But just in terms of acting, it just proves like, yeah, you can't buy it. It's a skill you have to develop, and sometimes, it doesn't work out.
So Nando, I have a question as far as her relative level of acting talent compared to other people.
Sure.
If you were given the keys to a major project, you get to put your name on it, but you only have a choice of 2 women for the lead female role. You can only hire either Kim Kardashian or
the other
Ronda Rousey.
Oh shit. Ronda Rousey. First of all, she wasn't an Entourage thing, so I'd like to hire her just so we could chat about it. What was it like putting Turtle in that headlock? Oh wait, was that was Ronda Rousey? Yeah,
that was Ronda Rousey. Yes.
I don't think Ronda Rousey is a bad actor. But like, I've never seen her fully try to act. So maybe secretly she's got the talent hidden somewhere. Like, she is a known unknown.
Inside.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Kim Kardashian is a known quantity, like, bad. Like, so knowing what we're getting out of Kim Kardashian, I don't think we can do worse. Also, I can't imagine she's a treat to have on set. Like, and not even her. I'm assuming her entourage is like 1 billion people. So I don't want any of that. Maybe she's nice. I don't know. But it's a bizarre, it's such a get that, like, it's crazy that, like, other people like her have never done this or have done it and been okay. Like, there's other influencers that have acted and are fine that are, like, not, artists first, but they're just,
have there been other ones that were never a normal human being?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I think Kim Kardashian really is like a singular figure in popular culture. Like, it's really hard to compare her to anyone besides, like, Paris Hilton. But even Paris Hilton, not the same kind of thing. Didn't have the leg, like, didn't last as long, and also just didn't represent the same thing. And I don't think there's any influencers now that are that. I don't even think that she's like the Jake Paul of actors or whatever. Although, like, I think Jake Paul could probably give a better performance. That's the thing. Like, everybody after her needs to differentiate themselves by being more interesting or something. So, like, every influencer since her, I think, is probably a better actor. And then there weren't any before her, besides, like, Paris Hilton and, like, heiresses and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. She just looks like she's in a different show than everyone else based on how she reacts to things that they're all talking about in the same room. She also managed to get a lot of her bullshit beauty nonsense into the show. And that's fun.
It's like an aviation gin situation.
It really is. And it's like an aviation gin situation if Vince was trying to sell the idea of gin. So, like, I don't know how many of these products she has any stake in, but it's just like butt surgery, butt laser therapy and stuff like that. Like, there's so many parts of the show where a character goes, wow, that's a cool, fancy, expensive necklace. So, like, it's creating this weird lifestyle, like, FOMO or whatever. But it's so broad because she's everywhere. Like, she's bigger than any one aviation gin or like a tequila or whatever company. She's everywhere. And also, I forgot aviation gin is the Ryan Reynolds one. Avion tequila in the Entourage verse is the Vincent Chase one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
They shouldn't have both picked those letters. But I don't know. Maybe Ryan Reynolds thought he was a bigger star than Adrian Granier's character, Vincent Chase, who Adrian Grenier, I believe, is not even back in the second Devil Wears Prada movie. So I guess Ryan won that one. But anyway, those are the things. Pluribus mostly. Dispatch is great. I Love LA. Maybe it'll be fine. All's Fair is really, really bad, but kind of fun. Next week, what are we doing?
It's a good question because 2 movies are coming out. We got the Edgar Wright Running Man, and we've got Now You Three Me.
That's right. I think we have to do Now You Three Me first because the people are starved for Now You Three Me, content. I also think it's going to be a bigger hit. Like, I think it's going to make more money. And then after that, it's not Wicked yet, right? Or we do have another week before Wicked or something.
I think it is Wicked. I think Wicked comes out the weekend before Thanksgiving.
So then after that, Wicked. So we'll get to Running Man eventually. I think if the reviews were one way or another more, I'd be more curious about it. Like, we got to do it, but I don't know.
I mean, I'll probably see it. It's just a matter of when we do it for the pod.
Yeah. But now You Three Me, I'm very curious about and excited for. Do you have anything to plug, Dickens?
No. What about you, Nando?
Video wise, I did a frequently asked question, or not frequently asked questions, a Q&A video the other day. That is, I don't even know if it's live yet, so it probably can't even, well, it'll probably be live by the time this is out. that'll be on YouTube soon. It's on Nebula now. Also made a video about Dispatch and what I liked about that show or that game. And, you know, it's not a spoilery one either, so you can watch that and then play the game. But I am going to make other ones. I think I'm going to make a video, assuming the other Dispatch video doesn't like catastrophically bomb, where I go through my choices so you can see what I did and judge me for it, because I think that could be fun.
No, I do want to, just as a preview for that video, maybe. I am curious how many HR violations you would say you made over the course of your playthrough.
I mean, like, not as many as the other people did. I think I made a minimal amount, a non-zero but minimal amount. But that being said, I don't think there is an HR team at this dispatching center. I think they all got eaten by a, giant robot or something, and they're all gone because nobody's enforcing anything here. And there's other things that are going on at the dispatch company where I'm like, this would also probably be like, I don't know how anybody's getting paychecks at this company or like healthcare. But yeah, so not the most, but a non-zero amount. And I wish DJ was back from his journey, because he could tell us what his choices were and like how he maybe got way more. We'll find out eventually. And then next week, now you see me, now you don't, now you three me, starring the AI voice of Michael Caine, perhaps. Until then, I've been at Nando View Movies on Twitter and Bluesky.
And I'm at C. Diggins, exclusively on Bluesky.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye. We love you.